And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of our HomeStory Cup 24 coverage Group C. I'm of course Showslide VIP, and with me I'm joined by the lovely Rumble. The lovely stage here. Welcome everyone, welcome to HomeStory Cup 24, the Galactic Rumble, and this is our coverage of the round robin group stage. Over the past couple of weeks we've been covering Group A and Group B, and now we are here with Group number C again. This event did occur quite some time ago, around a month ago at this point, at the start of December of technically last year, and we are continuing the group stage. Basically, we've been covering this whenever we don't have anything live to cover, and currently, Kung Fu Cup is on hiatus for a season. Well, Kung Fu Cup is technically done for this season. Those that are curious, Kung Fu Cup is typically a weekly tournament that is going on at this time slot, and we do cover it live, but it has ended for the winter season, as it comes by in seasons. We have the summer season, then the winter season, and I'm sure the season will start up again in a couple of months when the next season of World Team League comes around. Speaking of, the finals of World Team League are in a couple of days. The World Team League round robin stage has concluded, and starting this Friday, the playoff bracket. Here we go. We're here to crown, or we're soon to crown, of course, the reigning champions, the world champions, for who is the strongest, or what is the strongest team in StarCraft in the winter season. Now we're going to see some back-to-back champions in onside. Will Basilisk get their revenge, and will they take the crown themselves? We'll see. And again, that's going to be in a couple of days. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 3 days of WTL. But again, because the group stage, the group group stage? The group stage of WTL, and because Kung Fu Cup is on hiatus until the next season, we have a couple of days in the week that are free for some replay casts, and we have a couple of events that we did want to go over. The big one, of course, is HomeStory Cup, the group stage. We're halfway done already. We have 2 more groups to go, and I also wanted to cover the open stage, the open bracket of of ESL Masters Winter, DreamHack Atlanta. Fun fact, we were the only English cast, the only English coverage live of DreamHack Atlanta, the open stage, but because there was so much going on and so many games happening at once, we did our best covering as much as we could, but we could only cover so much, and there's still a lot that went uncasted in the open stage and in the earlier rounds of DreamHack Atlanta. So that's going to be the next thing that we're going to be focusing on, again, during this interim, at the start of the year when we don't have Kung Fu Cup or any other big live coverage. So we're going to be sprinkling in a couple of replay casts here and there throughout these days, throughout these weeks, throughout the next month or so. So we got you covered. So plenty of StarCraft, plenty of StarCraft. So it's possible that you may have already seen the open stage, or the group stage of HomeStory Cup. If you have, refrain from spoilers in the chat. We have not experienced them ourselves. I did tune into the playoffs, but not the group stage of HomeStory Cup, so we are here to bear witness. And just to quickly go over some of those matches, here we go. Bam! Today's matches, we have 5 best of 3s, and that's a lot of Protoss, that's a lot of Terran. I just realized not much Zerg. Next time we'll get some Zerg. So there wasn't much Zerg representation in Group C. We casted players like Lambo and Fiant in previous groups. This group was all about the Protoss and the Terran. There is one Zerg player. There's one Zerg player in this group that we're going to be casting next time. That is Stefano. Stefano did make his return after a very long hiatus in HomeStory Cup, kind of a guest appearance, a guest performance in HomeStory Cup, which is really exciting. I'll just quickly switch over. Bam, there you go. So you can see there, Stefano. We'll be casting some of Stefano's matches next week. Essentially, we have the group stage was really big. It was round robin, so a lot of games were played, and we're not going to cast everything in one go. Calm down, Papi, calm down. We're not casting everything in one go. So today, we're just going to be covering the first half. The second half will be, again, next time, just for some transparency. And up first we have Showtime versus Forjumi, followed by Skillus versus Baby Marine, Skillus versus Spirit, Forjumi versus Baby Marine, and Showtime versus Skillus. to end the night in a PvP. So again, some big names here, and as you can see, kind of the bigger names and the bigger players in this group are Showtime and Skillus, alongside Spirit. I would say they are top 3, and it is top 2 that make it out of the group. So it is a brutal format, a really brutal round robin stage, but I'm really looking forward to seeing some of these other up-and-comers like Forjumi and Baby Marine to see how well they can perform against some of these other established names. So my eyes are definitely on them. Meanwhile, when it comes to Stefano's matches, we'll be leaving them for next time. And Stefano, of course, a little bit out of practice. He has retired many times by this point, I'm pretty sure. Stepped away from the game, come back to the game, and I think more than anything, like, he was just more than happy to fill in here and be a part of HomeStory Cup, be a part of the atmosphere and the environment once again. It is really cool to see that he's still willing to be a part of the scene, and I'm sure, of course, has some longtime friends and kind of relationships with a lot of the casters, players, and community members as well. So yeah, really cool to see that Stefano was a part of this event, and we'll be getting to his matches. We'll get there. We'll get there, but for the most part, we have our up-and-coming matches already set in stone. Stefano, yeah, exactly. Hello, Terror Lord in the chat. Hello, shout out to Wormshik, dzień dobry. Babyling, Bekoeta, Kibrit. Psycon's the first quacker for today. Easy Phil as well. Welcome. Bienvenidos. And yeah, these are going to be our matches here for the night. So 5 best of 3s, and we will have a break in the middle of it as well, just to kind of cut things up, just to slice things up. So a bit of a lighter day of StarCraft here. I mean, this is still going to be like a solid maybe around 3-ish hours, but a little bit shorter than our usual broadcast length, which I'm more than happy for. Again, you know, it's still like the first week of January. We're easing our way into the year, calming things down. Our weekend is going to be very intense. I mentioned before, we have WTL, we have KSL, we have a New Year's event that we're going to be hosting on Friday as well. We have plenty of other events like the Masters Christmas Cups. We got New Year's and Christmas events that are coming up a little bit late, but they're on the way, and many other events as well. So I need some coffee inside me for all of that. We'll be there. Also, OSC, right, the OSC Championships, they're tomorrow. I'm just looking at the calendar. Yeah, tomorrow we have other events going on as well. We're getting into it. It's going to be a busy year, a busy 2024. I look forward to it. But here we go. We're diving into our first series. It's going to be Showtime versus Forjumi, Game 1 on Site Delta. Let's dive on in. Let us dive in. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the German Protoss player, the blue Protoss, representing his team, Little Fairy. It is Forjumi. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player, representing his team, Berlin International Gaming, BIG. It is Showtime. The first of many PvPs that we're going to be having tonight. And again, a PvP, anything can happen. Now, winding the clock back a little bit here, because we also casted the group stage of HomeStory Cup 23 earlier this year. Oh, I can't even say early last year, technically. True. Oh my, it's gonna be weird saying that. Earlier last year, we did cover HomeStory Cup 23. And if you remember, it was a bittersweet HomeStory Cup because Forjumi was a part of that. We did cast him, but for those that are maybe unaware, Forjumi almost didn't make it to HomeStory Cup because he had an accident. He had an IRL accident, unfortunately. I believe he was in a bike accident where he had actually broken his arm. He had a cast on and he was recovering. And because of that did kind of, impact his ability to play the game. And a lot of people, myself included, were like, oh, that's such a shame. Like, it means he won't be able to participate in HomeStory Cup. But he played anyways. Crazy. He played in HomeStory Cup anyway. He said that he had, felt good enough to try to play the game. And fun fact, in HomeStory Cup 23, they had some bonus prizes. And one of the bonus prizes was the best cheese of the tournament. So because Forjumi couldn't actually play for too long, his goal every single game that he played in the group stage was to cheese every single game to get the prize. He just all in every single game in the group stage of HomeStory Cup. And again, really good effort, you know, I mean, considering his, you know, state of being and the fact that he was playing in a cast, and for him to still compete and find a way to earn money. And I think he did win the prize. I can't remember who won it. But again, he just came out with something crazy every game, just all in game after game. So he had a very standout performance, or a very memorable performance last edition's HomeStory Cup. And as I bring that up, we are proxying again. Where nowadays, though, for this edition, of course, Forjumi has recovered. You know, he was able to recover from his injuries and all that good stuff. He's competing quite regularly nowadays, and he's going for a gate expand, but no, it is going to be a 3-gate opener. Meanwhile, Showtime going for something more economic here, going for a gate expand into that Stargate. I believe it was a second gas first, so it was a faster Stargate here from Showtime. Did start up the Oracle, but now starting up a Void Ray instead. Looks like he's maybe recognizing something is wrong. Basically, a Void Ray first is a big sign of defensive play. Cancels the Oracle, goes for the Void Ray, has a shield battery as well. Showtime is ready to defend. He's doing his best Max Pax impression, essentially going for an economic opener and turtling up here on 2 bases initially. Meanwhile, Forjumi is all in, and the probe scout, oh, the probe does come across the proxy. Showtime is now aware of what's going on. Again, it's going to be a 3-gate, sorry, did I say 3 gates? 4 gates all in. We have 2 gateways here on the low ground, 1 gateway the main, 1 proxy across the map. That's going to be a proxy, or it's going to be straight up 4-gate all in here from Forjumi. All or nothing. Does get a couple of probes already with his adepts. Pretty good start here for Forjumi, going to be limiting the economy that Showtime has available. Meanwhile, Showtime is now aware of what's happening. He's not fully aware of how all in this is or what build this is. It could be 3-gate with a Twilight Council and Blink, for all he knows. Like, that is also a possibility, but just knows he has to defend. Second shield battery on the way. Overcharge going to be available as well here for Showtime. The Void Ray count is amassing. Forjumi going to be backing off for the time being. He's going to back off. He's still just mustering up his army. How many Stalkers do we have? We have 8 Stalkers, 9 Stalkers right now, as well as an Adept. His goal here is to try to catch this Void Ray, maybe even lure it out into the open if possible. Here we go. We dive on top of the army. Void Rays, they do pull back. 1 Stalker going to be falling. We dive on the Void Rays, but it looks like the shield battery overcharge is just too good. We do pop the overcharge. Void Rays, they will survive. Yeah, the overcharge keeping everything alive here. Looking at the units lost tab. So far, we've lost 1 Stalker for Forjumi, trading 1 for 1. So far, barely keeping that second Stalker alive. The overcharge has run out. Oh, but he loses a second Stalker for a Zealot. Not the best trade from Forjumi. He's going to try to force his way in, trading 1 for 1. Gets the first Void Ray. A second Void Ray has arrived, though. A bit of a misclick there from Showtime. Uh-oh. Likewise, another misclick from Forjumi as well. Both players slipping up here, and the third shield battery does finish. Ay. Well, everyone's nervous. Everyone's nervous, puppy, as Forjumi has to back off from here, and he's running out of steam. He lost 7 Stalkers in the process. We still have 2 Void Rays. We're about to have a third with a 4th shield battery on the way. We should be perfectly fine. We have 2 pylons, just making sure everything stays powered. A couple of boys are pulled as well to draw some of the attention, to draw some of the DPS. Forjumi goes for a Twilight Council. He is transitioning. It looks like Forjumi has maybe realized that he cannot break his opponent, but he's all in. Like, there's no expansion. There's nothing behind this, and Showtime has been probing. He's been making workers behind this, getting into another gateway just so he can produce an army to support. How many shield batteries? 5 shield batteries on the low ground. Oh my god. Now, with a Twilight Council, we can go into Blink. We can maybe try to bypass the armor, but this is just such a late tech structure and such a late upgrade. Adepts will shade in, though. Oh my god. 2 Adepts do one-shot workers, so we're going to get some damage done. How many probes exactly will we kill? We get 1, we get 2, we should barely get 3. Oh, so close. Get 3 probes, not too bad. 3 workers do go down. And it is not going to be Blink, it's going to be Dark Templar, but Robo is on the way. We have access to an Oracle if need be. It's a risky maneuver here for Jimmy, going for Blink and Dark Shrine at the same time. Went behind Dark Shrine, but again, like, the longer this goes on, the better it is for Showtime. He's now getting further and further ahead in the economy. Adepts say Shaden again for a third time. Let's get another probe. No shield battery in the mineral line, by the way. We got another 2 probes, actually. Very nicely done. Link being chronoed as we speak. Dark Shrine gets cancelled. Wise choice, basically, for Jimmy. With that Adept Scout, he saw the robo. He saw the robo, so he knows, okay, there's actually no way for the Dark Templar to get any damage done. Chances are an Observer is going to be prioritized. So for Jimmy knows that just would not work. Yeah, oh, Immortal first, though. I mean, it's already cancelled at this point. So for Jimmy, just really respecting the tech of Showtime. And he's still all in, by the way. He still has not expanded. He's still just amassing Stalkers now. How many Stalkers? We have 17! 17 Stalkers to the 3 of Showtime. But it's not about the Stalkers. It's about the Void Rays. That's the thing. Void Rays, they can shoot through Stalkers with their Prismatic Alignment. There are 5 shield batteries as well to support this, plus an Overcharge, plus Immortals. There's the Observer on the way. We have an Immortal to help support, and we're pushing out. Ooh. 2 Stalkers already. This is pretty important. Again, every Stalker counts here for Forjumi. He's trying to lure out the army. Blink is done! We dive on the army. There we go. We do focus down the first Void Ray. This is the first Immortal as well. And it looks like we can catch every single unit here. But is it worth it? Do we have enough? We got all 4 Void Rays. We get the Void Rays. We get the Immortal. Big pickups here from Forjumi, but can he break his opponent? He's got 10 Stalkers of the 6 of his opponent, and now he pulled back to the shield batteries. It was a good start, fighting away from the shield battery, away from the overcharge, out in the open. Best case scenario for Forjumi. But he still has to push up this ramp. That's the thing. And now we have an Immortal coming out. We have an Immortal across the map. We have Adepts threatening the natural. Pilo's going to be going down, but GG gets called, and Showtime will hold, and we'll take game number 1. Ooh. GG. GG, well played. Again, a really solid defense there from Showtime. Really good scout as well. Remember, Showtime did probe scouts and did come across the proxy gateway. That let him know to just double down on the defensive course on site Delta. And we saw that, again, Forjumi did just slip up a little bit too much and did trade a little bit too poorly. When it came to that final fight out in the open, that was, again, best case scenario for Forjumi. He was hoping to catch the army out of the open, was maybe hoping there wasn't an Immortal. The Immortal did tank 2 volleys. It took a lot of hits there, added a lot of DPS as well. The Immortal did help Showtime quite a lot. Otherwise, there would have been extra Stalkers left over, and maybe Forjumi breaks him. Maybe he does have enough there to break into the natural, if there wasn't that Immortal. But the Immortal did help quite a lot, actually, for Showtime. GG. GG, well played. With that, Showtime does take the first game, and now we're getting into game number 2. Ooh. Here we go. Light is still stuck in 2023. True. Didn't Fiant win it or something? I think Fiant did win it. I do think he did win it. I remember that. Which is a bit of a shame, but, you know, regardless, shout out to Forjumi. And here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the blue Protoss player from the land of Germany, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Forjumi. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Berlin International Gaming. BIG. It is Showtime. Here we go. Again, the other problem with all-inning, especially on Site Delta, is that Site Delta does have a ramp coming into the natural, so you also have that high ground advantage and the point of elevation to just help defend. That's also why it's so much more difficult to all-in a player on Site Delta, why it's a lot more common to go for a gate expand on Site Delta as well. But now as we load into Oceanborn, Showtime going for a 2-gate opener. again, there isn't that safety ramp coming into the natural like there was on the previous map, which is why it is typically considered to be unsafe to go for something like that, to go for that kind of opener. So 2 gateways here from Showtime, 2 gateways from Forjumi. This time, standard openers and both players are mirroring each other. And the question becomes, does anyone proxy their pylon? Proxy their second pylon specifically. As we can see, there's no probe out on the map for Showtime. Forjumi, yeah, throws down his pylon here on the low ground. I'm loving like the mind games here. With that low ground pylon, it looks like it might be a proxy, so Showtime is a little bit in the dark. Meanwhile, the second pylon is thrown down in the main base for Showtime, so actually, I just realized Forjumi didn't scout. Bold here, bold. I mean, Showtime doesn't really have a reputation for all-inning in this matchup, so it makes sense. Technically, Forjumi does have a much more efficient and economic opener, and Showtime may be deceived into believing the second pylon is proxied, but there we go. We go down to the low ground, and we do get eyes on that pylon. Showtime is aware. But look at this, he sent a second probe out on the map to scout, so he was paranoid, he was looking for a proxy, believing that it was elsewhere, and Forjumi is expanding. So, economic opener here from Forjumi. Showtime has some extra lost resources because of all this scouting. It's scouting something that doesn't exist. And Showtime going to be opening up double gateway. Sorry, double gateway into double stalker, into 2 more stalkers behind this. So Showtime is going to have a little bit more aggressive potential here in the early game, especially because, as you can see, Forjumi, he cut unit production to throw down this earlier Nexus. That's why he only has 1 Stalker on the way. Now we have a 2nd Stalker in production as well. But again, all this kind of was delayed to be more economic, and Showtime is going to have to try to punish this. He is here. Hallucination going to be moving out. Showtime has arrived. Forjumi just zoning a bit this back. Shield Battery does finish up in time, and Forjumi is going to be able to hold on to his bases. And now Showtime recognizes what's been going on. Now he realizes that, oh, I've been bamboozled a little bit, and Forjumi is just opening up much more standard and macro-oriented. Additional Stalkers are arriving. Showtime slightly behind in that worker count. With 4 Stalkers, he has quite a force here, but yeah, we have 3 Stalkers to defend, plus a Shield Battery. Forjumi is perfectly safe, perfectly sound behind this. Twilight Council on the way, and a Forge for +1. Likewise, Showtime also getting into his own Twilight Council and going for a delayed expansion. So all in all here, Forjumi is looking ahead. He's ahead in economy specifically. And soon to be ahead in upgrades. That faster Forge can be very impactful here as the game goes on, with a big +1 timing and an even bigger +2 timing. So Forjumi will have better Stalkers as the game goes on. Blink is going to be around the same time for both players, but again, that +1 can be huge. At the same time, we do see Showtime going to be threading a shade into the main base. We do wall off in time. Do that out of that Shield Battery. Forjumi is safe and sound in the main base. And again, the pressure is on Showtime to find some worker damage. And I do like this though. So instead of killing workers, Showtime is taking a faster third. So Showtime, I mean, he does have map control at the moment. He does have quite a marauding force. So he knows he's safe enough to take a faster third base and catch up this way. Meanwhile, that's the gateway explosion. That is scattered as well. Big scout here from Showtime. Does see 4 gates, 6 gates in total on the way. Showtime's going to be down in production, but he does have that faster third to catch up to have a stronger mid game. But does Forjumi intend to expand, or are we just going to be pushing with +1? That's a big question here. Gateways are finishing up, +1 about to finish up as well. Forjumi going to be pushing out. As he moves out, Showtime moves in. Ooh, 1 Stalker going to get picked off. Pretty good start already here from Showtime. But Forjumi doesn't want to turn around. Now, this is a little bit scary. Forjumi doesn't have a way to reinforce. He has no Robo. He has no War Prism. But he's going for the Proxy Pylon. And here we go. +1 about to finish up in a couple of seconds. Really strong timing here for Forjumi. The Force Fields. Going to be zoning back the army. At the same time, reinforcements are on the way. Shield Batteries are not done yet. They're not going to finish. They're not going to finish here for Showtime either. Yeah, for Jumi taking the better fight. Blinks are looking good though from Showtime. Oh, picks off a Stalker. Does pick up a Stalker, but here come the reinforcements. It's going to be a slow warp and it's going to take some time to really kick in. For Jumi diving on this army. Good Blinks once again from Showtime. But he will dive on this. And for Jumi, he barely has enough. Boys are being pulled. That will help a little bit. Shield batteries are finishing. But Showtime is being zoned away. There we go. He blinks towards the shield battery. Overcharge does finish up. Overcharge is popped. Showtime, he's holding. He's trying to, but that's a lot of Stalkers. That's double the Stalker count here for Jumi. Again, it's all because of his production. Those 6 gateways coming in clutch with +1 as well. For Jumi, just all in here. And it looks like, has he barely broken through? Again, there's no overcharge, not anymore. We have additional shield batteries on the way, but it might just be too late. Another slow. These slow warpins are so painful to watch, but they're coming. They are coming. Oh, good target firing there from Showtime. Picks off another Stalker with a little he has. Immortal does arrive. We have the Immortal. We dive on top of the army, though. Immortal is going to be focused down. 2 volleys. Showtime is just being zoned away from his third base. Behind this, for Jumi is taking his own expansion. He's attempting to transition out of this. Yeah, we dive on the army itself. Another Immortal has arrived, though. For Jumi getting punished. Yeah, there's the overcharge as well. The Nexus will fall. We dive on top of the Immortal, out of range of the overcharge. Bit of an overextension from Showtime. The overcharge helping here towards the end, but the damage has been done. The third base has been shut down. And we have enough to break through the natural. GG gets called, and for Jumi ties up the series 1-1. GG. Let's go. GG. And again, Showtime, he did scout everything. Bear that in mind. He saw all of the gateways. He saw the gateways. He was aware of his own lack of gateways, his own third base as well. But despite seeing what was coming his way, again, he had very little time to prepare. If you remember, the first wave of shield batteries were denied. The first wave of shield batteries were killed or were forced to be cancelled. They didn't finish in time. We had Immortal production on the way, but it took some time to really get into that as well. And yeah, Showtime, essentially, the resources that his opponent spent on production, he had spent on that third base and was not able to get away with it. It was a really crisp timing from Jumi and did break through, did end up shutting Showtime down. And we are going to the ace match, and I'm already surprised. Again, when it comes to the Protoss players in Europe, a lot of people look at max packs, they look at Showtime, they look at Skillus for game number, they look at Skillus as well as top 3. And there are so many other Protosses out there. It's so difficult to stand out. You have players like Geralt, you have players like Christiana, you have so many of the Polish Protoss players, and I feel like Jumi is also in the middle of that pack, right? The middle of the mid-tier European Protosses. But for him to take game over Showtime, really impressive. Really impressive stuff. Let's go. So we're getting into the ace match. Game 3. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Solaris, we have the German Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Team Little Fairy. It is for Jumi. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG. It is Showtime. Showtime maybe not respecting the all-in enough from Jumi. Was caught a little bit with his pants down. Ooh, off of a pretty wild game. Remember, the reason there's so much that came into that game as well. Like, it wasn't just the fact that Jumi went for a 2-base all-in with 6 gateways. It wasn't just the fact that Showtime took a fast third. But if you remember, Showtime felt pressured to take a fast third because Jumi took a really fast natural. Remember, it was the second gateway was on the pylon, sorry, was on the low ground. Showtime thought it was an all-in. Jumi cut his third Stalker to make a faster expansion. Like, there was so much that came into that game, and so much kind of setup to that position that Forjumi found himself in, where Showtime felt like it was necessary to cut corners and be greedy and be economic to catch up with his opponent, when really his opponent was going all in. There's like layers. There's like layers that went into that. And that's what I appreciate out of mirror matchups specifically, where both players have the same tools at their disposal, but it's about how they use them. Speaking of, Forjumi once again going for a fake proxy pylon. This time though, not at his natural, this time it's at his third base location. So Showtime is going to come in, and Showtime will soon recognize, hold up, the pylon is missing just like last game, but is it a real proxy pylon or is it fake? Last game it was fake, this time also. I mean, kind of. We're keeping the probe here, which is interesting to me. Again, Showtime, he's going to be going for another rotation here in the main. Again, looking for that pylon. Meanwhile, Showtime has his own second pylon here in his own main base. Ooh, and we are going for a Stargate opener. Okay. So both players went double gateway. Showtime is going into double adept into an oracle. So a very aggressive start here from Showtime. Meanwhile, Forjumi going for a... Oh my god. Going for a proxy Twilight Council. Are we rushing into DTs? This feels like a Dark Templar rush. Obviously Blink is on the table as well for like a one base Blink all in. But to proxy the Twilight Council in such a way, well, we'll see. Probe does not get into the main base. If this is Dark Templar, this is very unfortunate, just because it's a Stargate opener, which means we should be having oracles to harass, and oracles that can also use revelations. Okay, Blink is going to be on the way, not Dark Templar. I imagine we're going to be seeing a third gateway soon for a 3-gate Blink. As we are pushing out across the map here, we do bypass the initial depths. Yes, no, they get in! Forjumi a little bit late there with the wall off. He does miss. And the Adepts, they get into the main base. They're going to be killing, what, 3, almost 4 probes? Very nice damage here from Showtime. Forjumi slipping up a little bit there in the defense. Meanwhile, back at home, Oracle's going to be on the way. The problem here is that Forjumi hasn't seen the tech. He doesn't know about the Stargate opener. He doesn't know he has to be in position to defend. Thankfully, there are 2 Stalkers here back at home. He's taking his third base. We're rushing into Blink, that is true, but we're not fully making use of it. Instead of throwing down a third and even 4th gateway, it is an expansion. Showtime does scout the proxy. Gets in position. Gets fended off here by Forjumi. So far, good defense here from our blue Protoss player, and the probe scout from Showtime confirms the expansion. He may have been lured into thinking it was an all-in, but now he knows that, again, he should be pretty safe here against an economic opener. Showtime going to be taking a bit of a later expansion, and instead of going into his own Twilight Council, we have a Robo. This should be for Immortal production. So there's going to be an interesting dynamic here, where Forjumi has faster Blink, so he has a more mobile Stalker army and a larger Stalker army, especially with Showtime investing into Adepts. So Showtime knows he can't really play catch-up here in a mirror matchup, instead going for Immortals. Immortals, they help you, or they help make up for a lack of Stalkers. You could be down 4, 5, 6 Stalkers, and a handful of Immortals can go a long way to really refine your army and allow you to stand tall against Blink Stalkers. Speaking of, Stalkers are moving out. They're fanned out here across the map, looking for any kind of Oracle moving out, any kind of stray unit, pylon. Behind this, no gateway explosion, so we're poking and prodding. There is a stasis trap. But Forjumi doesn't intend on committing. He's just, again, testing the waters. Making sure that everything is on the up and up. Does confirm the expansion, so now Forjumi knows he isn't being all-in. And the Oracle is getting ready to dive into the main. There is a shield battery in position. We are safe against 1 Oracle. Oh my god, that was so close. I don't think Forjumi saw the shimmer, but that was still very too close for comfort for me. Oh my god. My heart, Papi, my heart. Stasis almost went off. Oracle dipping in between the bases. Gets eyes on the natural, on the main base, and we have a third on the way, so Forjumi dives into the main. Again, he has a high ground with hallucination. Depowers the gateways. Goes straight for that Robo as well. He's going to get another pylon, and he's going to have to recall the hell out of here. He does have Blink available, though. And he will retreat. He will back the hell up. No, he doesn't have the Immortal. Bold move here from Forjumi. He will get the Immortal. Gets a pylon. Gets a Stalker as well. Shield batteries are depowered, and for Jimmy, does he have too much? Here and now, this was not meant to end the game, by the way. This was meant to harass. Gets the Immortal, gets Stalkers. There's one Stalker left and one Adept. It looks like we're running out of steam for Jimmy, running out of his army. Did overstay his welcome, but he did kill 5 probes. From here, he does dive on out. And that wasn't a bad trade. Oh, triggers the shield battery? The stasis trap. He did see, he didn't know. And again, he's going to be getting his 3rd base. So for Jimmy, he does take an economic lead. Showtime is not going for an all-in. He's not going for a 2-base all-in to respond. He's taking his own 3rd. He's moving out. Yes, but he runs into the army. Ooh, bit of a move command. Rough move command there from Jimmy. Meanwhile, his probes are going down here at the 3rd base. Showtime is fighting back. He catches 2 Stalkers in the center of the map. He catches 4 probes. Showtime is still behind economically, but he is gaining value. Ooh, that is a proxy gateway, and that is 5 gates in production. 7 gates in total, by the way. For Jimmy wants to double down here on mass gateway units, but he doesn't have +1 this time. Unlike previously, he doesn't have a +1 timing to go for. Going for charge instead. There's that forge on the way. So it looks like he just intends to saturate the space. He is not taking gases. Bear that in mind. He's not taking any gases at his natural or at his 3rd. It means that he wants to rely on pure charge loss to support. It means these Stalkers are very valuable as well, because he won't really be remaking too many of them. He's going to be reinforcing mainly with Zealots, and he's going to be careful with how he uses these Stalkers. Does chip away at that 3rd base. Immortals have arrived. Decent force fields, but there's just not enough DPS here. Not enough firepower to work through these Immortals. Overcharge was popped. Charge still on the way. There's a reinforcing wave of Zealots. Oh, the Adepts. 2 of them get into the mineral line, and they one-shot probes. 2 workers go down. No mining here at the 3rd base whatsoever. Or delayed mining. Double Oracle into the main base. Showtime doing a great job here at harassing. Again, Showtime is behind in the economy, and he is catching up. Gets 6 probe kills. Oh, did I say 6? 9! Oh my god. 9 probe kills, and we're not done. We go for a drive-by here at the 3rd base as well. Almost getting another probe this time, though. We are in position. But again, for Jimmy, he wanted to knock down this base. He wanted to knock down this 3rd, but he's lost so much momentum, and now suddenly Showtime, he is the one with the economic advantage. He's up in workers. Up, what, 12 probes. He's got his additional gases. He's working on +1. A blink of his own. Immortal production well underway. We have 2 Immortals, soon to be 3. Showtime is still pushing. For Jimmy is still pushing, but this is significantly weaker than it otherwise would have been. It's weaker. It's later. Everything is coming up Showtime here. He's got 2 shield batteries, plenty of stasis traps as well to catch some of these Zealots. He has an overcharge soon to be ready. Jimmy looking for another way in. Does get a warp in into the main, actually. Does draw away the army. That means we can push in. Stasis trap is triggered. Another big warp in into the main base. Prism's going to go down, but the warp in finishes. The warp in does complete. But Jimmy getting a couple of free Zealots here and there. Nice pickups. Another stasis trap could be triggered as well. Oh no! Oh my god. It's so close. There we go. For Jimmy does bait it out. He dives into the Immortals. Overcharges pop, but he gets 1. It's so close. He gets 1 Immortal. Gets a 2nd Immortal as well. For Jimmy cleaning up every single Immortal. Zealots, they come in to reinforce. Even with the overcharge for Jimmy, he has too much. GG gets called. And for Jimmy takes the 2-1. Takes down Showtime. GG. Oh my god. Bappy. GG, well played. For Jimmy takes down Showtime. First series of the day. Impressive. Impressive here. Again, I was really impressed by the previous game where for Jimmy, again, there were kind of like layers to the all-in. Here, likewise, for Jimmy also took an economic lead. It was very ballsy when he, if you recall, the moment where he blinked into the main base, where he was picking up Immortals, picking up Stalkers, picking up probes. He found himself with a lead. But then Showtime likewise doing a great job at coming back. I do think that if it wasn't for the Warp Prism in the main base, Showtime would have held. I feel like a frontal assault would not have worked. It was so clutch there for Jumi to slip that Warp Prism into the main base towards the end of the game, to actually finish an extra warp in of Zealots in the main base as well, to force Showtime to split up his army, to send his reinforcements to his main base, and that meant that his main force, his third base was that much weaker as a result, and Fujimi barely able to pull that off, barely able to pull off that essentially all in. I mean, Fujimi, he had a good economy behind it, but remember, Fujimi didn't have tech on the way. He didn't take any gases at his natural or his third. Like, he was very committed with that style. Barely did make it work. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Fujimi for winning this first series. Again, a little bit unexpected. Coming into this, Showtime was the heavy favorites, but it's a PvP. Anything can happen, and upsets like this can really swing and sway a group in a really weird direction, because it's a round robin group stage and only top 2 make it out. Every single game counts here, and for some of these big names like Showtime and Skillus and Spirit, they're all looking to perform as best they can, and whoever slips up first, they're gonna have a hard time recovering here in this group. So GG. GG, well played. With that, Fujimi does start things off with a win, and we're going to be tipping on over here to some of the other players in this group. Up next, we have Skillus versus Baby Marine in a PvT. Let's go. So again, you know, this group isn't just Showtime and Fujimi. There are plenty of other players in this. I mentioned Spirit before, and I mentioned Skillus as well, other big names in this group. But likewise, we have up-and-comers looking to prove themselves. In the previous game, it was Fujimi. In this series, Baby Marine looking to try and fight back against some of these more established big names. Let's go. So we are loading on in. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the red Terran player. At the time, he was representing the Platinum Heroes. Is no longer, but at the time, representing the P Heroes. It is the Italian Terran. It is Baby Marine. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is Skillus. We are diving into this PvT, the first of the night, and again, it's mainly Protoss and Terran, so mirror match with some PvTs are what we're looking forward to here. And I don't get to cast enough Baby Marine. Every now and then we get to see him in an OC King of the Hill, or maybe in the qualifiers for some of these big events, but yeah, he's not the most active of players here, which is a bit of a shame. I do wish that I could cover more of him, so I myself am here to be reintroduced to how Baby Marine approaches Protoss in TVP. So far, he does avoid the Probe Scout. He's going for an eBay block here at the natural. This has become very trendy as of late. I say as of late. Basically, ever since the new patch dropped, these engineering bay blocks have been very common here in this matchup. It's just a really good way to disrupt the Protoss player, and Skillus, he does scout this relatively early on. Boys are being pulled, Zealot may be forced out, and we are going to be shutting down this eBay. Oh, Baby Marine getting a little bit more progression on that eBay, being a little bit cheeky. Up, a couple more seconds. But he's one shot away from going down. He does have to get the hell out of there. Baby Marine will back off. The eBay will be cancelled, and Skillus can expand. Essentially, if this wasn't scouted this early on, then the eBay would have had much more health, much more progression, and Skillus would have been forced to expand elsewhere, taking one of the unnatural naturals, if you will. And that would have exposed him, and Baby Marine, with his add-on swap, would have rocked up with some Cyclones, some Hellions, and really just made Skillus' life very uncomfortable in the early game of TVP. Again, it was a single gas opener, but when you go for an eBay block like this, basically you're not going for the faster expansion, you're going for a faster factory into an add-on swap. Now, because the natural base was taken, I'm curious if we even add-on swap here, or if Baby Marine just sticks with Marine production instead. We'll see how he pieces this together, as the expansion is being taken, and we are going for the add-on swap. There we go. Hellions are still on the way. Bold move here, considering the map as well. Site Delta is one of the few maps where the entryway into the natural is quite narrow and is typically walled off. Skillus, I'm sure, is aware of the faster factory. Yep, looking at the SCV, sorry, the probe scout earlier. He did scout the factory, so we should be aware that Hellions and Cyclones are going to be a big part of the early game here. We'll see how Skillus can deal with this. As the Adept is going to be shading in, does get eyes on the reactor on that factory, getting into a 1-1-1, working towards Widow Mines, potentially a Widow Mine drop as a follow-up. Skillus is going to just make sure his Adept doesn't get caught out. Baby Marine pushing across the map, looking for additional scouting information. Baby Marine still doesn't know what kind of tech opener this is. Skillus did go for a Twilight Council, should be a Blink Stalker based opener, but Baby Marine is a little bit in the dark.
We need more supply depots.
It's an announcer I haven't heard before. Hellion's going to be threatening a dive, but there we go. We do have a full wall-off. This is what I expected out of Skillus. Again, he's got his SimCity, Robo, Gateway, and his units here with the shield battery to make sure the Hellions do not get in. As I say that, Skillus, yeah, just splitting up his units, making sure he's ready for a drop play as well. Speaking of drop play, Widowmine drop is upon us. So we're going to be going for 4 Widow Mines, then we go straight for another add-on swap into tank production. Again, a very safe way to play. I mean, I say that. It is a little bit risky here to go up to 4 Widow Mines. Essentially, this has delayed the tank production here, and it is Blink Stalkers, but it's only 2-gate Blink. Yeah, it looks like an economic opener. Skillus is expanding. Skillus is taking a 3rd base. He's not being overly aggressive. The other aggressive options would have been going up to 3 or even 4 gateways. But again, only 2 gateway here from Skillus. And here we go, we're diving on in. Up. Oh, the wall is not a wall. Skillus a little bit late to respond. Wasn't able to wall off the Widow Mines. They do drop into the natural base. Probe's going to be going down. Stalkers as well. 5 probes here at the natural. We go into the main. The Hellions. Oh my god, the boys are being pulled. Big mine shot goes off. 13 probes go down, and so many get 18 probes get roasted. Oh my god, we're not done. 21 probes go down. One of the Widow Mines going to be saved, I imagine. Oh, we can save you. Save him. Widow Mines to the natural were cleaned up, and we don't save the Widow Mine, but regardless, we did an insane amount of damage. Adepts, they shaded to the middle line. Looks like Bay Marine, he was a little bit distracted here by these 2 Adepts. 2 SCVs go down, but that pales in comparison to the amount of damage that Skillus just took. 21 probes, and just like that, Baby Marine has a very solid lead. All it takes is one slip up, but again, Skillus unfortunately just wasn't able to wall off in time, so the Hellions got in. Likewise, the splits were very haphazard. It was a very chaotic reaction against the drop, and Skillus was just caught completely off guard. And now the pressure is on. But look at the SimCity here. Look at the positioning. We have the tank out already. We have a solid wall here protecting it. Marines are going to have to zone around, or rotate around though, as Skillus, he's finding some damage here. Tank is repositioning. Oh, second tank is under fire. But we pull back to the safety of the second tank on the low ground. The tank is saved, and Skillus bleeds out a couple of Stalkers. And Baby Marine, he does hold. Doesn't lose anything. Loses, I think, 2 SCVs, if I recall correctly. Outside of that, he's looking solid. Skillus did open up with a 3rd Nexus, that is true. That's a double-edged sword. Because he opened up 2 gate into a 3rd, it means, 1, sure, he can recover economically, he can pump out 3 probes at a time, but it also means that he doesn't have the production to counterattack. It means that Skillus can't do anything across the map. He tried, but again, he just doesn't really have any Stalkers, doesn't have the production for any Stalkers. Because of that opener. And now Baby Marine is pushing, Skillus now getting into the rest of his gateways, but again, he's been spending his money replacing his probes, not building up his gateway count. Skillus is in a lot of trouble. Again, all because of the early game harass. And it's just snowballing into this push. The dominoes have started to fall. They've been falling for some time now. We do have a Dark Shrine. We have DTs coming in. Do we have a scan? Oh, do we have a scan? Do we? Oh, we need more time. We need time, Poppy. There it is. This Dark Shrine may just save Skillus here. Only 2 orbital scans are very limited. There we go. We have to scan defensively back at home. 3 SCVs did go down. We don't have another scan for quite some time. We have another DT in the way. In the way? On the way. Now it's in the way, I guess. Waddling into the main. We don't have a scan. Uh-oh. Baby Marine, he had such a strong start here, but these Dark Templar 7 SCVs go down, and Baby Marine, he just can't push. He can't. 1 DT defensively is all it takes to stop Baby Marine in his tracks. Wow, such an amazing start for the Terran, but 1 Invisible Man is all you need, Bobby. The Invisible Man is allowing Skills to get back into this. He's recovering, he's getting into a massive gateway explosion. Charge is done, +1 on the way, or soon to be on the way, getting fully saturated. More SCVs going down. Oh my god, 11! We finally get another scan, 12 workers. And Baby Marine, he had to race back home. That was meant to be the game-winning push, by the way. That move out, there was no stopping it whatsoever. There was no way for Skills to hold. Scanning that third base, seeing the saturation, seeing all those gateways, and the lead that Baby Marine once had isn't as there anymore. We're pulling the boys. Okay, yeah, let's go. I love it. We rushed into a Ghost Academy just for EMPs. It's like, okay, we have basically other forms of detection. Baby Marine, he knows how far ahead he was. He cannot allow Skills to get back into this. He doesn't want to allow him back in. And we're just completely all in. DTs are waddling on forward. We have the mine drop into the main base. The mine shots are going to be going up. Oh no! Oh god, a bit of friendly fire. So medevac does go down. But here we go, we are all in. EMP does connect with some of those zealots. Overcharge is popped, topping the zealots back up. Baby Marine, can he pull this off? Does target down the shield battery. Additional zealots are on the way. The Immortal waddling into its death. The Immortal's gonna go down. And Baby Marine, it looks like he is breaking the third base, at least a third. Across the map, there is nothing. There's one base, there's half a base economy going. Oh, the GTs, they get a tank. Oh, the Dark Templar, they are a big part of the defense here. How many tanks? 2 tanks went down. We have 1 tank left. How many scans? We're running out of scan energy. We need to save those EMPs. So we're pushing into the natural. We depower the Dark Shrine, which means we can still warp them in. We're heavily overstimmed. Getting overstimmed here. Another Dark Templar waddling in. Do we have a scan? Oh god, we have the EMP instead. Focus down that Dark Templar. Okay, we need a little bit more time for scans. Dark Shrine going to be going down. Do we have any DTs? We do not. No more Dark Templar here for Skilless. Does go for a safety scan. Which makes sense. Big EMP on the army as well, and it looks like Baby Marine, he has done it. He's breaking through, gets on top of the army. We do have a couple of zealots coming in from behind. We do take down the tank. Even forcing some friendly fire, but the main army cannot be dealt with. As army-wise, the Terran has too much. We waddle up into the main base again. No more Dark Templar. There's no Invisible Man to save you this time. Not this time, bud. As we're down to 1 base else, they come in for a surround. They're collapsing on top of the army here. It's going to be a tight defense, and it looks like Baby Marine will clean this up. GG gets called, and Baby Marine takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG. That was a roller coaster ride of emotions, Papi. There was a moment there where I was like, no shot. Is Skilless gonna win with only Dark Templar? Is this happening right now? Like, Baby Marine, he had so much momentum in this game. He had so much momentum. It was beautiful to see kind of the 1-2 punch, you know, knocking him down with the harassment and of course building up to the 2 base push. And then the wind was just taken out of the sails of Baby Marine in one fell swoop. With like 3 Dark Templar, you know, like immediately it just nullified the aggression. Baby Marine had to turn back around, deal with it, and then just rush into a Ghost Academy, pull the boys, and barely able to pull it off in the end. GG, well played. Whew. With that, Baby Marine does take the first game, but now we're going to be getting into game number 2 to determine, I mean, does it all end here or now, or can Skilless force that ace match? Mate, the up-and-comers, they're popping off today. Baby Marine is Rainer's brother, right? Yes, his little brother. Yes, yes. His little brother. Let us go. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Alcyone, we have the Italian Terran player, the Red Terran, representing, at the time, the Platinum Heroes, and leading the series 1-0. It is Baby Marine. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid down in this series, looking to fight back. It is Skillous. That's the dream of every pro. Emmanuel, I think it was referring to the mine drop, and I mean that was crazy. What he was able to accomplish as, oh, we are going to be mining through these mineral patches, and Baby Marine going for a hidden proxy racks here out on the right hand side. Now, this isn't going to be committed. I'm pretty sure it's only going to be a singular racks, and from here we can just expand back at home and go for a second racks as well. We'll see how Baby Marine approaches here, as we do have some Reaper cliffs to go into the main base. Okay, it is going to be a double gas opener. So we are going to be going for, I imagine, a factory as a follow-up. Now, do we go for a proxy 111? Or is the factory back at home? I'm imagining it's back at home, but show us what you got. Probe Scout coming across the map. This time, Baby Marine, of course, not going for an eBay block. Rax should be finishing, and with the completion of... No! Oh, the RNG! That's so unfortunate. Ay. Every second counts here, and we do have to lift up that Rax. SCV is saved. And Reaper is on the way, and yeah, there we go. It is the factory back at home. Part of me was like, yo, we're going to be proxying the factory as well. It is going to be back at home instead. Probe gets locked in, and with this SCV we can... Oh, we scouts! I was going to say with this SCV, we can go in and we can throw down a bunker behind the mineral line or in the mineral line to disrupt mining and to delay the economy. So there is potential with this SCV, but the proxy has been seen and Skillous is getting ready. Stalker is being chronoed and mentally he's prepared to pull back in. Oh my, we are going for a proxy factory, okay? That's... Here we go. We're going for the Dolan build, Papi. This has been an all-in that has been very trendy ever since the patch did drop. We've seen Ryung whip it out. We've seen Oliveira, Dolan, of course. There are different variations. This could be just Mass Cyclone, which is the more common version, or it could be the Dolan build, which is Mass Hellion into a Hellbat push. But I'm pretty sure there's going to be Cyclone. Oh, meanwhile, we do scout. We do see the fact that the Rax is missing. And Skillous, can he piece this together? Robo's on the way. Very safe opener by Skillous. It's very common to open up Stargate or Twilight Council. A Robo-based opener gives you access to very fast Immortals. Very fast Immortals, which doesn't really help aggressively, but defensively, this is ideal. So a very safe opener by Skillous. He hasn't seen what's happening, but again, he's respecting his opponent quite a bit. We go for 2 more gateways. A full wall off here at the natural... I mean, a full wall off with these Stalkers. A really good defensive position, and there it is. It is going to be Mass Cyclone, making 4 Cyclones at a time. It's a 1-base all-in at a Baby Marine. But so far, Skillous is responding very well. This is kind of what you need to be doing here. You need that Robo, you need the Immortal production, need the additional gateways. Skillous hasn't confirmed, but again, playing very safe. Gonna be going for a War Prism first, which will help when it comes to breaking the lock-ons and microing. Shield Battery on the way in the main. Shield Battery here at the natural. You can see Skillous covering all of his bases, not fully aware of what's coming his way, but getting ready for whatever does arrive. And we're pulling the boys. Now, the power of this is that these boys, they aren't just there to tank, they can repair. That's the power of those SCVs. They can repair the Cyclones. Already one does take a lot of hits. We do get some lock-ons going, and we do not get any of the Stalkers. Very nice juggling here from Skillous. Breaks the lock-on, saves the Stalkers, and gets them to the safety of the shield battery. Another big warp-in coming in. Boys have arrived. But there are so many Stalkers. Oh my god. 8 Stalkers against 6 Cyclones. We have to wait for another wave of reinforcements. Big lockers once again. We do juggle them away. Very nice. Oh my god, Skillous. Very nice juggling here. Barely losing any. Losing 0 Stalkers. Zero units have gone down. Only 1 probe. Oh my god. Skillous, calm down. The micro, insane here. Just not losing anything in the defense. But did I speak too soon? Finally, it looks like no, not even. Oh my, Skillus. No shot. He's not losing anything. He refuses to lose a single unit. Not a single Stalker goes down. They are so deep in the red. They are so battered, so bruised. But not a single Stalker dies. Not under Skillus's watch. Wow. That's crazy. That's... Oh my god. That's insane. And Skills, he's holding beautifully here. Holding beautifully. Shield batteries are on the way to top everything up. Overcharge soon to be available as well. And again, the Psycho is doing what they can. Can they find can they kill one unit? They cannot! We can't kill a single unit. GG. Oh my god. Skills. He defends perfectly. Like actual perfect defense. He lost one probe and gateways. That's it. He didn't lose a single Stalker. I don't know what to say. Oh my god. GG. That was crazy. That was impressive. Very impressive stuff there. GG, well played. Skillus ties it up 1-1. I think you could tell after game 1, Skillus was a little bit upset. I mean, again, Skillus, he is one of the favorite players in this group, right? It's like Skillus, Showtime, Spirit. They're meant to come out of this group. 2 of them at least. And for Skillus to drop the first game was a pretty big deal. It was a pretty big upset for Baby Marine to take a lead in this series. And you could see like the fire was lit within Skillus. He's like, no, I'm not going down 2-0, okay? This is not happening. This is not happening. And oh my god, just went like Super Saiyan, Ultra Instinct, Bobby. Didn't lose anything. GG. Very impressive. Very impressive stuff there from Skillus. Very impressive control. Again, leading into it, he didn't know what was coming his way. That's why we saw a shield battery in the main base, a shield battery at the natural. We saw a robo opener as well. Skillus knew that aggression was coming, but wasn't quite aware of what. And yeah, respected Baby Marine quite well when it came to his build of choice and the execution. That was, again, near perfect. You can't really get any better than that. Like, that was wild. GG. We're going to the ace match. Going all the way to game number 3. I just was not really expecting that. I was expecting a defense, but not that dominant out of our Protoss player. And here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Hardlead. We have the Italian Terran player who had the lead in this series, being forced into the ace match. Can he still cause the upset? Representing the Platinum Heroes, it is Baby Marine. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player, really flexing his micro and showing off his control in that last game. Tying it up, forcing the ace match. It's the red Protoss, representing Team Liquid, Skillus. Oh my god. As we are loading into Hardlead. Of course, Hardlead having a very short rush distance by ground, known for all-ins, and Skillus is being as annoying as possible here, almost getting a kill on an SCV. Just delaying this Rax, forcing another SCV off the mineral line. So far, again, a good job of being annoying here by Skillus, just forcing some inefficiency in the opener of Baby Marine, as he is going for a what looks to be a Rax expand. It looks to be an economic opener. He wants that SCV, by the way. Oh, one shot away from going down. Another SCV does get very much so softened up. This probe, it's a menace. Get out of here. Oh my god. 2 SCVs very close to going down, and a third taking a lot of hits as well. Thankfully, Baby Marine does keep everything alive, but Skillus just showing off his prowess here, even with his first probe, is eventually going to be forced back. With the arrival of this Reaper, we should be able to fend this off, and there's that expansion on the way. Skillus does confirm the economic opener. Again, just a single gas geyser. Rax into expansion. So Baby Marine has been pretty aggressive so far this series, but here in the early game, we're easing into something more macro-oriented. Probe is being forced back. Reaper is moving out, and Baby Marine should be able to hunt down this probe. With the chasing SCV, he has eyes on it, and it's not going to escape. It shouldn't escape. Yeah. There's an Adept on the way, but the Reaper has arrived and the probe will be shut down. And behind this, we can see Skills getting into his own opener, going for a gate expand into the Cybercore. And we have our take of choice. Once again, it is going to be a Twilight Council. I say once again, if you're winding it back, if you were maybe only there for Game 2, in Game 1, Skillus also went for a Twilight Council opener. It was a Blink-based opener into a third base. It was 2-gate Blink. On a map like Hard Lead, I wouldn't be surprised if Skillus goes for something like a 3-gate Blink instead, just to respect his opponent a little bit more, and just to be a little bit safer, as we do get a kill on one SCV. Adept gets in, CC will complete, but we did delay it for a moment and did kill one worker, and the Adept will make it out. There it is, second Adept does arrive. With 2 Adepts, we can deny mining here at the natural if we both shade into the mineral line. Hellions are on the way. Looks like we have a 1-1-1 follow-up here, looking to be a, I imagine, a mine drop from Baby Marine. Adepts are being forced back. We do shut down one of them, and we'll eventually try to get the other as well. And good control here by Baby Marine. Got some extra hits in with those Marines. Does shut it down. And behind this, we have our opener. We have Blink on the way. We have a second gateway finishing up. Oh, and as I mentioned, it is not 2-gate Blink, it is 3-gate. The reason why I assumed it would be 3 gateway is just because of the small map, just because it's a very short rush distance, so this is a much safer way to open up. Oh, never mind! I thought it was going to be 3-gate Blink, but this is 4-gate Blink. Suddenly, a safe opener turns into an aggressive one. So a very aggressive build here from Skillus. With 4 gateways, we should be prioritizing the Warp Prism. Stalker's going to gain map control, and Baby Marine is going to be on the back foot. Now, he only made 2 Widow Mines, which is important to take note of. Only 2 Widow Mines instead of 4, which means we get faster tank production. Much faster tanks here from Baby Marine, as opposed to Game 1. Very safe way to play. And we need these tanks to defend against those Blink Stalkers. So the first tank should be on the way. We have 2 bunkers on the low ground. Second tank should be coming out just in time for the attack. For the time being, Stalkers are fanning out. This medevac drop was spotted by the Zelnaga. Already a lot of hits in, and oh no! Oh, we shut down the medevac drop. We shut down the Widow Mines, and Baby Marine is in the dark. He has not seen the main base. Doesn't know how many gateways there are, so he has to blindly be defensive. We have 2 bunkers on the low ground. First tank is out, second tank is on the way, but we are amassing Stalkers. Is this defensive position good enough? Again, I'm loving the SimCity here. Like, we have a wall basically surrounding this tank. But we barely have any Marines. We're getting on top of the tank. The second tank does pop out in time. Ooh, but doesn't siege. Raven gets picked off as well. And yeah, we take control of the high ground. We take down the second tank as well, and there's just not enough here to deal with this. Marines are coming in, but these are vanilla Marines. No stim and no combat shields. And this is already becoming too much. It looks like Skillus is snowballing out of control. It shuts down 19 SCVs. And the Marines, they're getting damage done. They're picking off a couple of Stalkers, but we're losing every single one of these units. GG gets called. Skillus fights back, taking game number 3. Takes the series 2-1, taking down Baby Marine. GG. GG, well played. A very crisp build there from Skillus. Again, very unfortunate that Baby Marine wasn't able to get across the map. And again, it isn't just about scouting and getting damage done, but also buying time and forcing those Stalkers to stay back home for a couple of extra seconds. Remember, when the Stalker army blinked into the main base, the second tank came out just as the army came in. It just didn't have enough time to siege up, to get in position. Imagine a couple of extra seconds, and potentially Baby Marine would have had a stronger hold. I'm not saying it would have been easier, but just would have been a little bit better there for Baby Marine. Again, with the Widow Mine drop being shut down, that was basically the green light. The green light for Skills to just send everything across the map. There was no reason to keep anything at home. He could commit, and boy oh boy did he. GG, well played. Congratulations to Skillus as he does take the series 2-1, but a shout out to Baby Marine because, hey, he was able to make Skillus really work for it and did force the ace match in the end. despite that, though, really impressive performance out of Skillus. You know, the standout game, Game 2. Game 2 was wild. I still can't... I was a little bit speechless, not gonna lie. I was stunned by just how well Skillus was performing and how well he executed that defense. Like, that was beautiful. GG, well played. Skillus will take it. And with that, we will soon get ready for our next series. Oh boy. 2 games in the book so far, and we're getting ready for our 3rd series here. It's going to be another TVP. It's going to be another TVP here, featuring Skillus up against one of the bigger Terran players in the group. Up next, Skillus versus Spirit. Oh boy. It's going to be Spirit's debut in this group. I mentioned before that when it comes to Group C, there's Showtime, there's Skillus, but there's also Spirit as well. 3 big names here in the group, alongside the up-and-comers as well. So, this is going to be a little bit spicier here. I mean, the last series did go to the ace match, but it was a very chaotic series, very much so reliant on early game aggression. Here, I expect us to really sink our teeth into this, and I expect longer macro games. But we'll see. We'll see. As Game 1 is going to be on Site Delta. I'm expecting a very different dynamic between these 2 players as opposed to Baby Marine and Skillus instead. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have the Polish Terran player, the blue Terran, representing his new team, Na'Vi. It is Spirit. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Protoss player, representing Team Liquid. It is Skillus. Go. So our openers are well underway. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm always excited to cast Spirit. Against Spirit, he has been, I don't know if I want to say an up-and-comer in 2023, but he's been really coming into his own and really solidifying himself as one of the best Terran players of Europe, of the foreign scene, or period, really. It's been really cool to see Spirit kind of carve out a name for himself amongst the best of the best in Europe, specifically this year. At times even surpassing Hero Marine, becoming like the 2nd best Terran in Europe. In current era, I would say that Spirit and Hero Marine are pretty comparable with each other. Of course, the 3 of them alongside Clem are still top 3, but yeah, Spirit has just been performing really well and really deserving to be picked up by a big team like Na'Vi. Like Na'Vi, again, having their foray, dipping their toes back into StarCraft after a very long hiatus. Really cool to see them support a player like Spirit. Oh, hello, Skillus. I mentioned before that I expected the dynamic to be a little bit different between these 2 players, and it is very different, as Spirit is going for a Rax Expand economic opener out of our blue Terran, meanwhile Skillus going for a proxy gateway. Cybercore is done, Stalkers are moving out, and we'll see what kind of proxy we do commit to here, and what kind of aggression Skillus brings to the table. Oh, okay, proxy Stargate. Not a proxy gateway. I mean, the standard proxy location for a Stargate is here, outside the main base, but Spirit already scouted. Spirit, he's checking here the standard proxy locations, so this more unorthodox location is really paying off so far for Skillus. Zealot going to be waddling up the ramp, going to be delaying the CC ideally. Does get on top of an SCV. Meanwhile, Stalker is on the way to help support. And we may be able to get here just in time to deny that bunker. We could even delay the CC. It's going to be close. It's going to be one SCV going down, the other SCV under threat as well. Zealot does fall. And Spirit will hold. He forces back the Stalker. Command Center will finish. The bunker soon thereafter. And we're going for... Oh my god, we're going for one base all in. Okay, we're going for Proxy Void Ray alongside a gateway. We have 3 gates on the way with Void Rays as well. Skillus, he's going to be sending it here. A really unique all-in as well. Usually when you proxy Void Ray, you have shield batteries being set up here outside the bases. But there's no pylon, there's no shield batteries, where instead of spending resources on shield batteries, they're spending them on stalkers. Stalkers and additional gateways. Very interesting. Okay. Show me what you got. Show us, Skillus. Introduce us. Let's go. Now, with prismatic alignment, Void Rays, they can shoot through this bunker. This bunker can be actually annihilated very soon, very quickly here, in a very short amount of time with these Void Rays. Behind the Spirit going for a 1-1-1, setting up for a Mind Drop. That means it's going to be that much less to defend. As the Mind Drop moves out, the main army is going to be pushing in, and Spirit has no idea what's happening. Spirit didn't go for an SCV Scout, he didn't go for a Reaper Scout. Spirit has no idea that Skillus is all in. No idea whatsoever. And his greed working against him a little bit here. There we go. Out moves the Mind Drop, and here come the Void Rays. Prismatic alignment is activated. The bunker is going to go down instantly. Just like that, Spirit, he's being forced to evacuate his natural waste, cancel some of these add-ons. Cyclone is on the way. The Voids are being pulled. But it may just be too little too late. The Void Rays, they shut down every single one of these Marines, and there's nothing at home to defend. The Mind Drop doesn't turn around. And GG gets called. Skillus will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, Spirit being punished hard here, being punished very, very hard for not having any scouting information whatsoever. No SCV Scout, no Reaper Scout, no nothing. He had no idea what was happening. And yeah, this all-in was very unorthodox. We don't really get to see many Void Ray based all-ins like this. Not in this way. And Spirit had just nothing to defend. He had nothing prepared for this. He had add-ons on the way, just a handful of vanilla Marines and 1 bunker. That's all he had. And just like that, Skillus takes game 1. Very nicely done. And now we're getting into game number 2. Let's go. Game 2 going to be taking place on Alcyone. Oh, Skillus taking a quick lead in this series. Can he close it out, or can Spirit fight back and tie it up? As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player representing his new team, Na'vi. Looking to fight back in the series, looking to tie things up. It is Spirit. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Protoss player representing Team Liquid, having a cheeky win in game number 1. We'll see if he can do something, or if he can close it out here in game number 2. I was going to say do something similar here in game 2. It is Skillus. Now, I don't expect Skillus to cheese again, or to proxy again that hard at all in this series. Here in game 2, or even if we get a game 3, I feel like that's something you do once in a best of 3, and you've kind of put Spirit on notice, and from here, we have a much more standard approach. Meanwhile, Skillus, I'm sure, is going to be that much more adept at scouting. He has been punished, and I'm sure now is going to be respecting his opponents a lot more here, especially in the early game. I expect. But we'll see. We'll see how it all comes together. See how it all comes together here. So for now, it looks like a Rax Expand out of Spirit, very economic opener. Likewise, Skillus this time doesn't have a probe out on the map. Just going for a gate into Cybercore, into our Nexus. So everything is looking chill. Everything is looking above board for the time being. We're calming things down. And Spirit is going for his expansion. And unlike the previous game, SCV Scout. Let's go. We are moving out with the SCV. Reaper is on the way as well. So again, this is kind of what I mentioned. After what happened in the previous game, I'm sure Skillus is going to be, again, a little more adept. Sorry, Skillus? What? Spirit is going to be a little more adept when it comes to his scouting and make sure that everything is looking normal. That everything is on the up and up. SCV comes in. We do get eyes on the expansion, which, remember, there was no expansion last game. There was no Nexus. So already Spirit is breathing a sigh of relief. He's like, oh, okay, you're sane. you're a normal human being for now, thankfully. Aye. We can see the Reaper checking these fringe locations as well, just making sure that there is no proxy at his third base location. And we have our tech of choice. It's going to be a Stargate opener from Skillus, not a Twilight Council. Remember, we had almost exclusively Twilight Council openers against Baby Marine, but here Skills is going for something a little bit different. But I'm sure a lot of this also comes down to the map itself. We are loading into Alkyone, one of the larger maps in the map pool, so something like Phoenixes do make a lot of sense. As the Reaper does dip into the natural, ooh, probes are under fire. So if our good control out of Skills, he does pull back those weakened probes. Adept does arrive, and the Reaper is forced back. And there it is, there is that first Phoenix on the way. It can be sometimes risky to open up Stargate and Phoenixes, especially on smaller maps. Against like these heavy aggressive styles, they can sometimes, you know, struggle to defend. But on a larger map, Skills has a little more freedom, has a little more breathing room. And these Phoenixes will allow him to get map control. Meanwhile, Adept gets across the map, going to be threatening that mineral line. Does shade the hell out of there. Skills will retreat. Behind this, a 1-1-1 based opener. Important to point out, it is a 1-1-1. Looks like we're once again going for a mine drop. Last game, Spirit couldn't really make use of his mine drop. This time, he should be able to get across the map without too much issue. And we'll see how much he does commit to this with a mine drop as well. How many mines do we produce? Behind this, second gateway is on the way. Reaper does dip in, does confirm the Stargates with these Phoenixes. So Spirit is fully aware of what's going on and should be getting ready and in position here in the main base. There we go, Cyclone in production. Widow mines are burrowing. Spirit taking a defensive stance here back at home. Let's go to Widow mine in the natural, Widow mine in the main. Phoenixes, they dip in between the bases. And they do get eyes on the medevac at least. They are at least aware that the medevac is staying back at home. So Skills has to be feeling pretty safe. And additional Phoenixes are in production. Now behind this looks like Phoenix Colossus. With the robo finishing up, there we go. Safety Immortal is on the way. Should be leading into a Robotics Bay, into Colossus production. But we'll see if Skills goes for a different direction. As the Viking has arrived and the Phoenixes are being zoned back. Speaking of, we're getting into our 3-1-1 setup. 3 Raxes, 1 Factory, 1 Starport. Very standard setup here on 2 bases. Phoenixes, all they do, take a mine shot to the face, but not enough to kill a Phoenix. Does kill the Widow Mine, does get a couple of SCVs. Marines are picked up as well. It was, yeah, 1 SCV did go down. And Skills hasn't lost anything yet. Did take a mine to the face, so the Phoenixes are a little bit softened up. But they're all still alive. And Skills has to be careful. There's another Widow Mine here behind that gas geyser. Oh, the mine! Ooh, big connection. Once again, Phoenix does survive. But once again, the Phoenixes do get softened up. Good mine positioning here from Spirits. Oh no! One of us! Phoenix almost goes down. Spirit is doing a great job at holding, bearing in mind that Skills is is successfully containing his opponent to 2 bases, but has been taking a bit of hits, and Spirit hasn't lost too much. He lost 1 Widow Mine, 1 Stalker, 1 SCV, a Marine here or there. For the most part, he has minimized his losses. Meanwhile, behind this, the Bay is done, and Colossus production has commenced. Skills isn't really pushing anytime soon. Ooh, as it looks like 1 Phoenix does go down. But Skills going to try and defend here on these 3 bases. With the Colossi, with the Phoenixes. Spirit is pushing. Now, the move out has been spotted. Skills is aware. And he knows that he can't really touch this army with his Phoenixes, so he's going to try to catch some reinforcements. And can he find a tank? Will find a tank! Big pickup. Tank going to be going down at the same time we're pushing across the map. Oh, Phoenixes aren't here, which means the drop is uncontested. The Marines, they do get into the mineral line. Probe's going to be going down. Phoenixes across them. They catch more reinforcements. They catch a medevac, maybe even 2. 2 medevacs go down, but probes are falling. Oh my god. It's going to be 7 dead workers. The drop isn't done. We barely lost any Marines, by the way. We get back into the main. The target firing stim is done, by the way. And probes are falling here left and right in the main base. This is far too much damage. The main army may not be able to break through, but this singular Marine drop has killed 21 probes? This should not be happening. And again, this is all because the Phoenixes were across the map. If they were back at home, they would have denied the drop entirely. We even deep the Artosis pylon. We depower the Stargate, we depower and deny some of those upgrades. The army comes into the third base, and Skills is being pulled apart completely. 30 dead workers. This is game-ending damage. And the drop play continues. Oh my god. Again, the lack of anti-air really hurting, really killing Skillis here. Again, charge still delayed. The Colossi are going to be able to hold on to the third, but again, that was 30 dead workers. Phoenixes, finally they turn around. And this is what should have happened. When the medevac falls to the Phoenixes. I mean, they did gain value across the map. Like, I can't fault that, right? They killed the tank, they killed 2 medevacs. Those are big pickoffs. But we needed a recall from there, or just to race back home. Because alas, Spirit achieved too much for a single Marine drop. And suddenly, Spirit is in a beautiful position. He is looking poised here for his eventual push. Just catching one of those Phoenixes. Skill's going to be moving out through the center. Spirit setting up on these 3 bases, ahead in economy, and just building up his army. Ghost Academy is done. Ghosts are on the way for those EMPs. Skill is trying to be as assertive as possible. I don't think he really intends to push in, but I think he intends to contain. To just try to contain Spirit here, or if there was a move out, he could maybe catch it in the center of the map. As Skillis is going to back off, getting his 4th base, and trying to recover from what just happened from that drop. Desperately just trying to resaturate his bases, getting back into his upgrades. Charge is now done. 1-1 is on the way. But again, Skillis is still recovering. And Spirit is just happily building up. And there's going to be a big window, a big timing when he does move out. Going for a 4th CC though. That's a 4th CC and a 2nd starport on the way. Sorry, just dying a little bit. We're back. Alright, and here we go. Now, there is a way for Skills to come back here. And, of course, a big way is Harass. We do have a Zealot drop being set up here towards the natural. The main army. Nearby that goal base. Now, as Spirit moves out, as he does kind of expose his bases, there is potential. There's a lot of potential with this Zealot drop. It needs to get a lot done. We go for the scan, we get eyes on the Disruptor. Disruptor production has commenced, 2nd Robo's on the way. Big EMP, and the Nova, it's not going to go off. We do duck down the Disruptor. It does fall. Big EMP on the Colossi as well. That Skills is going to be able to force this back. Remember, Spirit is pushing without his tanks, without his factory-based units. The Zealot drop comes in, but these Zealots aren't achieving too much at all. We're trying to set up in the main base, but we have reinforcements back at home, and Spirit will deflect this. His main army did kill a Disruptor, but now a 2nd Robo has gotten up and running. 2 Disruptors being produced at a time. And with a couple of good Novas, Skillis can fight back. Oh, the Prism goes down! Prism goes down to the Vikings. Fusion Core is on the way for Liberator production, +1 air attack. Spirit still has the advantage. He brings everything together. Meanwhile, Skills once again posturing. Again, I don't expect him to really push into any of these fortified positions, any of these bases. He's just vying for map control, expanding, taking out goal base behind this. Dark Shrine is on the way to as well. He's going to be pushing forward. Do we try to commit here? I'm not too sure if I like this. And here we go. We're pushing up the ramp. Zealots are being shaved away, though. And we dive on top of the Colossi. There's not enough to protect them. Big EMP. And these Colossi, they are so exposed. And where are the Disruptors? They're just now coming in. But it's too little too late. Nova's going to be going up. Good splits. Beautiful splits here from Spirit. And he shuts down the army. That was a big overextension from Skillis. I did not expect him to push up the ramp, but it was a massive mistake there as every single Zealot goes down. The Colossi as well, there's 1 Colossus left. And Spirit just going for a massive counterattack. Disruptor has arrived. We're going to be able to zone away the army for a moment. We have one Nova in the chamber. Big EMPs. The Disruptor! It's going to be targeted down. The Nova will not connect. And Spirit, he has broken through. He has broken this army. A decent Nova towards the end here, but GG gets called. There's just too much Terran. And Spirit ties it up 1-1. GG. Again, Spirit, the MVP of that game was, of course, that one Marine drop, or sorry, the one drop full of Marines, maybe a better way to put it. That one drop did just get so much done. It itself didn't kill 30 probes, it killed 20, which is still very impressive, but it kind of forced a lot of chaos and it forced Skillus out of position. He was like in a panic trying to defend his bases, and that allowed the main army to push towards the third base, and then in conjunction with that drop in the main, 30 probes did go down. We were able to trade with the army, delayed charge, delayed upgrades, delayed Phoenix production. Just everything was on fire. Everything went south very quickly there. And Skillus just was barely unable to recover from that. He was working on it. He was working on that. You know, there was a lot of potential with the Prism drop. There was potential with the Disruptors. But things just got a little bit too quickly out of hand. And now we're tied up. We are tied up. We're going to the ace match. All the way. All the way. 30 word, yeah. that was crazy. That was crazy. And here we go. We're getting into the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends on hard lead. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of hard lead, we have the red Terran player representing his new team, Na'vi. It is Spirit. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. Looking to claw his way back into this in the ace match, it is Skillus. Here we go. Probe has arrived. We're getting into our openers. We've already had some aggression so far this series, with Skillus going for an all-in in game 1. But I imagine here, another standard opener, but we are loading into hard lead. I bring this up because this is, of course, a very short resistance map. One of the smallest or shortest resistance maps in the map pool. Aggression is favored, and if you recall, when I brought this up last time we saw Skillus against Baby Marine earlier today, Skillus did go for a Twilight Council opener into 4 gateways. It was 4-gate Blink Stalker from Skillus, and he was able to just snowball out of control and break Baby Marine before he could really get things going. We'll see if Skillus has a similar approach here against Spirit. I'm expecting a Twilight Council, not a Stargate, but we'll see. We shall see. They both have their place. They both allow for different play styles. As we mentioned, or as we spoke about earlier, on a small map like hard lead, going for something like a Phoenix-based opener can be risky. Can be a risky thing to do. As this probe is being so annoying. Just on patrol, but oh, we do lose it to the Marine. That was not supposed to happen. Bit of a slip up there by Skillus. Just stuck around a little bit too long. Probe does go down. And with that, Spirit is able to get into his rack expand. Economic opener. Economic opener here from Spirit. Skillus is going to be a little bit more in the dark as to what is going on after losing his initial probe, but he's going to be soon active with his adepts. Adept is being chronoed as we speak. Spirit being a little bit greedy here, reminiscent of game 1, where Spirit doesn't go for an SCV scout and skips his Reaper. Reaper has been skipped here. Spirit just reactoring out Marines, getting into his factory production, soon to be an add-on swap, and there is that tech of choice. Skillus is going for a Twilight Council, not a Stargate. Again, it makes sense on hard lead. It does allow you to be the aggressor instead. Now again, there are different variations of Blink openers. There's 2-gate Blink, 3-gate Blink, or 4 gates. Each one allows for a different playstyle. Each one allows for different forms of aggression. We'll see how hard we commit. do see Spirit getting to his starport as well. Just a straight up 1-1-1. Continuing marine production as they are being reactored as we speak. So far doing a great job at zoning Skillus back. Safety bunker is on the way as well, for when that adept count gets a little bit higher. So far, just a really secure opener here out of Spirit. The downside, of course, is he has no idea what's going on, but soon he will with the medevac drop. This mine drop is going to be really important, not just to get economic damage done, but we need a scout. We need to get a read on what exactly is happening. Was a Hellion does. We do spot the probe. And we do delay the expansion as well. We have one gateway here on the low ground. We have one gateway in the main. And as we delay the third base, 2 more gates. Now, part of me believes that Skillus is reacting because of what the Hellion just did. And the Hellion saw an attempted third. It looks like an economic opener. So we just double down here on gateway production. We will probably still invest into this third base. But with 4 gateways, we can counterattack quite hard. Hellion going to be going down. The Hellion did see that probe, by the way. So again, Skillus trying to sell a story. Well, as gateways are getting up and running, there we go. The Prism is on the way. Skillus soon to be very aggressive. Mine drop is coming in. We do boost into the main base. We do get eyes on the gateways. Big scout. Big scout here by Spirit. Mine shot's going to be going off. We do get 1 probe. And we might even get a Stalker. Up! Ooh. Blinks just in time. Good control there from Skillus. 1 probe for 2 Widow Mines. Sorry, 1 probe for 1 mine. Not a bad defense here from Skillus. But the Widow Mine does survive. Meanwhile, that expansion has been delayed because we've been warping in. It is eventually being taken, but we did warp in an extra wave of Stalkers and we're moving out. Again, the 4 gateways getting up and running. We're pushing. We're looking for a dive into the main base. Good tank positioning here from Spirit. He does have his Marines here next to his tank as well to protect. Does pull back for a moment. Adepts are going to try and distract the Marine army. There we go. Marines are being dragged to the low ground. And we do dive on top of the bunkers. First bunker goes down. Second bunker is going to be able to hold on though. Clutch repair here, keeping it alive. And the tank is repositioning. And we're within range. We take down the Stalker. So far, Spirit is holding. We have a backup bunker in the main base as well. So we're getting a very solid defense. Skillus does have high ground vision. He can dive into the main. At the same time, the Mine Drill comes back in. 4 probes. And the Widow Mine is saved as well. It can dive in for a second, for a third time even. Meanwhile, we dive into the main. We do pick off a tank. Nice pick off. Good juggling here from Skillus as well. He almost gets the bunker. Blinking into the low ground, blinking into the natural, delaying these depots. Spirit is supply block, by the way. Just now breaking out. Additional depots on the way. Mydro comes back in. Okay, this time we see. This time, Spirit notices and we notice as well. As we should minimize some losses. Only 1 probe goes down. Skill's going to be rotating around. Observer does get sniped. And Skillus, he goes for the dive on the tank. He will focus it down, but it's going to cost him. Oh, Stim is done, and a lot of Stalkers are going down. That was a costly trade here for Skillus. Did get the tank at least. That will delay the push, and Spirit is taking a third. Meanwhile, Skillus, he's also transitioning. We have a charge on the way. The Forge for +1, additional gateways. Interesting that we're not seeing a bay. So Skillus is going for a very gateway-heavy composition. Blink Stalkers plus charge lots. No Colossus or Storm yet. We should eventually get there, but it's a little bit later on down the line. Skillus going for a Dark Shrine. Oh my god. I mean, I do think that there is a lot of pressure on Skillus to get damage done. I do think that he lost a lot to the Widow Mines. A lot of probes, I should say, to the Widow Mines. 8 workers in total. And Skillus, I'm sure, was hoping to achieve a little bit more damage. It wasn't just that probes were being killed by the Widow Mines. It's also the fact that this third base was delayed. Remember, third base was delayed, which means worker production was delayed as well. Mineral income. He went for an aggressive opener, and he was hoping to achieve a little bit more. There's that 4th in production. Skillus taking his 4th. Still being very active. He's trying to contain his opponent. Trying to get eyes on any move outs. As soon as Spirit moves out, we have the Prism to come into the natural. So Skills is ready to backstab. There we go. Spirit is now going to be taking his third. Observer does spot this. Is sniped. And as the Marine Marauder gets dragged out of position, yeah, it's go time with those Zealots. As Spirit takes his third base, he's being spread thin in between his 3 bases. So we'll see if Skills can find some damage here. Again, his goal with these Soldiers is to distract Spirit. Again, keeping his attention here at the third. Prism, oh, does get scattered by the Mind Drop. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, Spirit, he does react in time. He sims on forward. Prism does not find a way in. Again, that was a big scout for Spirit. And now he's on the hunt. There are a lot of Zealots here, so I don't think he can shut this down. He has to be very careful. As Zealots, they do reveal themselves. They dive on top of the army. Spirit, he's in a bit of trouble. Does react here with his Marines. Does push back the Zealots. At the same time, in come the Stalkers. And Spirit being pulled apart. SCV's going to be going down, but we will not get a kill in the CC. Spirit will hold, only losing 3 workers. At the same time, the Mind Drop going to be diving into the main. Stalkers, they're going to try and focus it down. Oh, they will get the Mind Drop. Whew. Nice defense here from Skillis. They'll shut down the drop. He's getting his 4th base up and running. We spoke about how for quite some time here, Skillis has been heavily reliant on a very gateway-focused army, but now we have the Bay. The Robotics Bay is on the way. Now the 4th base is getting saturated, which means we can get into Colossi. We should soon be getting a 2nd Robo as well for double Colossus production to catch up with that splash damage. The army movement hasn't spotted. Dark Templar also gets spotted as well, as it barely does avoid that scan. Oh no! Skills being so annoying already, forcing out 2 scans. And you're going to force out a 3rd scan as well. Or try to. Behind this, there's our first Colossus. There's the 2nd Robo. Eventually into Disruptor production. And Skillis, he's for the most part stabilized here. He's looking strong, getting his 5th. But Spirit is pushing out, is spotted by the Observer. Skillis sees, he rotates. And again, he's waiting for Spirit to commit, and then bam, we come in with the Zealot counterattack. This is what we are waiting for. Scan does reveal the army. Spirit has been spotted. And how will Skillis react here? So here we go, he's coming in with his first Colossus. And he could come in for a surround. Yeah, the Zealot's coming in from behind. Spirit is wary, he does pull back. Nice EMPs. Oh my god, but that's a lot of Zealots, and we are coming in from behind. Spirit getting swallowed up. Oh, he does have to retreat, and there's no anchor point to this army. Very few Widow Mines, very few, or no tanks. Very few mines. Spirit does have to back off. Skillis has maxed out. Again, that was a really good fight for the Protoss. Shaved off a lot of Marines. EMP is avoided. And the Mine Shot's going to get baited out. A good snipe on that 2nd Widow Mine. And here we go. Skillis, he is pushing through. And Spirit just doesn't have enough to hold on here. Again, he lost a little bit too much earlier. A massive warping of Zealots. 12 Zealots at a time. It's almost purely a gateway army as well. Only 1 Colossus in the mix. And here we go. We're looking to snowball out of control. We're looking to just snowball and just swallow this army. So far, good kiting out of Spirit. Does kite well, but this army is overstimmed. Skills could be respecting it. Does back off, waiting for more reinforcements. A lot of Zealots have been going down. Good EMP on these Stalkers. That 1 tank on the high ground doing a lot of damage. But that's going to be a kill on the... Was that a kill? That was a kill on the CC. And honestly, we can go straight for this third base as well. We do have options. Yeah, there we go. A couple of Stalkers being peeled off. Skills' economy just getting out of control here. Skills just perpetually maxed out. 3-3 about to kick in. Or 3-2 about to kick in. Again, Skills, he knows that he can't really push into this defensive position without trading very inefficiently. He just wants to lure out the army into the open. Skills has remaxed. At that 200 supply, pushing in once again. Well, the EMP does force him back. Stalkers trying to focus down whatever they can. Bit of a rougher trade there. Good kiting once again from Spirit. Skills bleeding out a lot of Zealots. As soon as Zealots go down, his army is that much less threatening. But we dive on top of the Vikings. Two of them get focused down. Again, I kind of want Skills to just peel off a couple of Zealots here. I mean, regardless, like, he has so many bases. It's crazy. His economy looking terrifying. He will retreat. The Colossi exposed. Oh. Yeah, the first Colossus is going to be focused down. A good concave here from Spirit. Sorry, from Skillis. As also being cleaned up. The Colossi are saved. We have the one Colossus up here. There we go. Don't get left behind. As Skills will barely hold on to both of his Colossi. Again, it's been a back and forth trade. Oh, the robo units get trickled in. A bit of a miss rally there from the Immortals. But again, even though Skills was up in supply, like, his army quality just isn't quite there. Especially with all those Zealots. That's why he just couldn't push into the natural. And Spirit was able to outtrade him. And takes down the center base. These Colossi are so low. All it takes is a couple of volleys from the Vikings. Meanwhile, a big warping into the main base. DTs and Zealots. They get into the main. The main base is floating over as a fourth even. But his production is being cammed. Losing control of his main. Rax's factories are all going down. Spirit, he's all in. Spirit, he's all in with this army. He takes down both Colossi. Takes down the final Colossus as well. And does he have enough? He's breaking through. It does focus down the Immortals, but it's not going to be enough. He's being cleaned up. GG gets caught. Skillis will hold. And Skillis will take the series 2-1, taking down Spirit. GG. GG, well played. I apologize if I said the wrong name a couple of times. I did catch myself, but I think at times I was trying to say Skillis and I said Spirit, and at times the reverse, but GG, well played. Skillis does take it in the end there. Again, Spirit being forced all in. Big warping into the main base did force that as well, just came in the production. Spirit was also being contained perpetually on 3 bases and really just was struggling to get a 4th base up just because of the positioning of Skillis. Skillis couldn't really kill Spirit, but he was killing Spirit, just like starving him out, containing him to a 3-base economy. And even though Skillis wasn't trading well, even though Spirit was out trading the Protoss, even though he was trading very efficiently, Skillis had a more than good enough economy to sustain himself. He had 6 bases as opposed to the 3 of his opponent. He had double the base count of Spirit. Crazy. With that economy, could just sustain all those Zealot losses, and GG. GG, well played. Skillis will take it in the end. 2-1 will take down Spirit. And with that, we have reached more than that halfway point in today's broadcast. What do I mean by that? Well, as we switch over, we have covered quite a lot already here. In today's broadcast, we went over Fort Jumi versus Showtime. A big upset there as Fort Jumi did bring down Showtime 2-1. We covered Skillis versus Baby Marine, where it went all the way to the ace match, but damn, Skillis was looking damn powerful there against Baby Marine. And even here against Spirit, Skillis also showing off his more mid to late game prowess as well, with a better economy in some longer games. And even with an all-in. So Skillis looking quite strong here. Both Fort Jumi and Baby Marine having some good performances as well. But we have 2 series left. 2 series remaining here. we have another PvT with Forjumi versus Baby Marine, and then we end the night with a mirror matchup with Showtime versus Skilless. Now, because, you know, we've already covered 3 of these matches, we are going to be going on a short break. I am out of water. I would like some water. So, we are going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will be closing out today's broadcast. Again, this is only half of Group C. We're going to be covering the other half next time. A lot of it's round robin, Papi, round robin. A lot of games were played, a lot of matches were held. This is the PvT group, so a lot of Protoss, a lot of Terran, not many Zerg. We'll be covering some Zerg next time, Papi, next time. So yeah, look forward to those matches. Again, we're going to be going on a short break. When we return, we will have Forjumi versus Baby Marine. We'll see you guys soon. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that brutal OST because we have returned with the second half of today's broadcast. We've already wrapped up with 3 of our matches here tonight for HomeStory Cup 24 Group C. Now we have 2 best of 3s remaining here. Again, it is a round robin group stage. We have players like Skillus, Showtime, Spirit, as well as, so this is big names, as long as some other smaller names like Forjumi and Baby Marine as well. And they've both been impressing us tonight. Again, Forjumi took down Showtime earlier in a PvP, very impressive. Likewise, Baby Marine also forced Skillus into an ace match. But now they're both going to be facing off against each other. I'm here for it. Here we go. This is going to be another PvT, and game 1 will be on Site Delta. Let us go. Boy. And again, after this series, we will be having a PvP between Showtime and Skillus. So we have 2 best of 3s remaining. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our German Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Team Little Fairy. It is Forjumi. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Blue Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Baby Marine. Here we go. And again, Baby Marine, he didn't have a bad performance earlier today against Skillus, so we'll see if he can replicate that success here against Forjumi as well. They are very different players though, bear that in mind. Forjumi tends to be, at least from what we've seen, more aggressive in nature. I'm not saying that we're going to be seeing some one-base all-ins or anything like what we saw from Skillus earlier today, but I mean, I guess it's on the table. It is on the table. We'll see what Forjumi does whip out though. For now, Probe gets across the map, going to be as annoying as possible, chipping away, tasing away at that SCV. Does force out a second worker, and will be forcing out a third worker as well. Forjumi doing a great job at just being as annoying as possible with this probe. Shouldn't get a kill, but no! Does get an SCV. That should not have happened. A bit of a slip up there from Baby Marine, losing one worker this early on, and will he lose another? Forjumi regenerating those shields, rotating around, dipping in between these bases, and if he sees an opportunity, he will go for that SCV. He wants it! Oh my god. One shot away from going down. Ay. The probe will get the hell out of here. Does get eyes on the would-be expansion. He's dipping back in. He wants... Oh my god, here we go. He will confirm the expansion that's on the way, and the probe will get out of here. I say that. Oh, gonna hide in the main. So basically, the role of this probe is to hide and avoid this Reaper. And so far, did move out of vision of the SCV, skirts the edge of the natural base, and will successfully hide and avoid this Reaper, which means the probe can come back in to be even more annoying. There we go. Probe tries to delay this expansion, and Reaper has to turn back around, and will eventually deal with this, and will not lose the SCV. Thankfully. Probe does fall. And behind this, we have our take-up choice for Forjumi going for a Stargate. So Stargate opener out of Forjumi. Meanwhile, Baby Marine just going for a Rax expand into a factory. So no 3 Raxes or anything crazy like that. Not from our Terran. As our Reaper does meet up with the Adept. Going to be dancing with it. The Adept will shade across the map. The role here for Forjumi is to delay the expansion if possible, and the expansion should barely be able to finish up just before the Adept does arrive. There we go, the expansion is going to be safe and sound. Meanwhile, the Reaper does get into the main base, does scout, does get eyes on the Stargate. It's a very important scout there from Baby Marine, does get a kill on a probe. Very nicely done. That should not have happened, by the way. Oh, he wants the other! Oh, will not get it. Reaper does fall. Meanwhile, across the map, the Adept has been successfully denying mining here at the natural for as long as possible, but will be shut down. Ooh, even does delay mining from the Mule. But Baby Marine, he regains control of his natural base. Mining is well underway, and the dust is going to settle. Things will be calming down from here. Both players have been able to more or less scout each other. And interesting, we're going for, I mean, makes sense. Up against a Stargate opener, we're going for a safety Cyclone, just to make sure that we're safe and sound against a potential Oracle. Adepts are going to be forced back. Phoenixes are continuing to move out. We're going for a Stargate opener into a third base, into a Robo, so it looks like Phoenix Colossus. Very traditional out of Forjumi. Lock-on. Lock-on gets a bit of extra damage here. Oh my, quite a lot of damage actually on that Phoenix. Again, nowadays, doesn't take long at all for the lock-on to reset. So a lot of hull damage is dealt. Baby Marine going to be pushing through the center. Not with the largest of armies, but at the same time, Forjumi doesn't have a large army either. He's got a handful of Phoenixes and they get caught out. A lot of damage already dealt to both of those Phoenixes. Behind this, we have a third Phoenix. We have a couple of Adepts. No shield battery here on the low ground. No shield battery at the natural. Forjumi in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, Baby Marine, he ignores the natural, goes straight for the third. The army is being forced out. And again, we're looking for either a cancel on the third base, or maybe we can just dive on top of the army itself. Shield battery is still halfway done. The Immortal, though, it's on the way. Shield battery will not finish. It's going to be a kill, not a cancel. The Immortal does pop out. Good pickups here, but the Phoenixes, they get focused now. They're softened up from earlier. Both Phoenixes do fall. 3 Phoenixes go down as well, and can we break through? It looks like Forjumi should barely have enough. It's going to be close, though. Is close, but with the help of this Immortal, Forjumi does hold, but additional reinforcements are trickling in. Baby Marine just sending everything across the map. He wants to end it here and now. Uh-oh. That pylon is so exposed, and we go for it. And we're going to depower the Robo, which means no more Immortals, no Colossi. Forjumi in a lot of trouble. Did not take this seriously enough. Boys are being pulled. And Baby Marine, he may just barely have enough here. The medevac barely survives, saving some Marines. But the Immortal will hold. And things are gonna calm down. Baby Marine, he backs off. Third CC is on the way. Now, what's a little bit worrisome is that this means that Forjumi gets away with the third base. It is happily mining, but probes were pulled and workers did die. 6 probes went down, so Baby Marine, he doesn't have the worst economy, but because of this third base that's up and running, Forjumi will soon recover and overtake the economy of the Terran. You can see Baby Marine just amassing his army, again in the midst of transitioning. We have a Liberator on the left-hand side. We have a Mine Drop pushing towards the main. So a bit of multi-prong harassment here from Baby Marine. Let's see what he can get done. So far, nice spotting, nice reaction here out of Forjumi. Does minimize his losses. Phoenixes are on the way. And that does create an opening. As the Phoenixes are hunting down that Liberator, would you have the drop into the main? At the same time, the main army pushing right through the center as well. Forjumi doesn't react. He does! He does pull away just in time. Oh! You get one Zealot. And potentially another. A big mine shot here on the main army. 4 probes go down. Liberator going ham here at the third base. And here comes the main force of Baby Marine. And again, we are out of position. Forjumi, he's not here to defend. Zealot's going to be going down. The overcharge is not good enough. And we are breaking the third. Colossi going to be coming in, but through the Liberation Zone and through the Widow Mine as well. Oh, big mine shots. The Immortal goes down. I had too many losses. GG gets called, and Baby Marine takes game number 1. GG. Again, a very aggressive style here from our Terran player, which is kind of what we expected. It is what we saw against Skillus, and Forjumi just could not keep up. Again, the weakened Phoenixes were a big part of that as well. When it came to the first defense, both Phoenixes went down in an instant because they had red HP coming into the defense just because of the earlier game aggression and early game harass. Baby Marine barely breaking through and yeah, did pull Forjumi apart. GG. GG. Baby Marine, he takes the first game, and now we're getting into game number 2. It's going to be on Forjumi to fight back, to put a point on the board. Or does it all end here in favor of the Terran? We're going to find out as we load in to Alkyone. Here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have the red Terran player representing the Platinum Heroes. It is Baby Marine. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent, we have the blue Protoss, representing Team Little Fairy. It is for Jimmy. Jimmy clearly just wanting desperately to get into a longer game, to get into a stable 3-base economy, but just wasn't able to. And we've seen this before. Baby Marine going for a proxy Rax. I'm getting deja vu. Now, if you remember, the last time we saw this, Baby Marine did go for a Rax into a factory back at home. It was a double gas opener with factory back at home into a proxy factory across the map, and it was a Cyclone all-in from the Terran, which did not work. I'm getting some flashbacks. Skillus had a beautiful defense against it, where he lost 0 army units. He lost a probe and he lost some gateways, but he lost 0 stalkers in his defense. It was immaculate what Skillus was able to perform. Assuming this is the same build, as we are taking both gases and we should be getting a factory here back at home. This should be a Reaper opener here from Baby Marine, and we'll see if we commit to the 1-base all-in. SCV is being hidden, as we saw previously. Reaper is on the way. And so far, it does look like the same build from the Terran. We'll see if that's going to be the case. We'll see if Jimmy was maybe hearing about it or watching it as well. That's what Jimmy's going for his expansion. Just a gate cyber expand, standard opener out of our Protoss player. Probe is across map, just trying to be as annoying as possible. As the factory is finishing up, and there's that add-on. There's the add-on swap. Rax is being pulled back for the reactor. Factory is on the way, and this is going to be a double factory all-in mass cyclone. We're going to be making 4 cyclones at a time. Now, we saw this fail against Skillus, but again, Skillus had like the perfect defense against it. It was insane what he accomplished. Jimmy does see the proxy location. He does see the mined out minerals. But we'll see how Jimmy reacts and how he responds. Now, the quote-unquote correct response to this is once you realize like how committed your opponent is or that something weird is happening, we should be seeing a robo opener. We're going for a Stargate instead. Okay. I'm a little bit concerned. A little bit concerned here for Jimmy. There's the add-on swap. Reactor on the way back at home. The Zealot gets knocked on the other side of the... Oh, no shot. The Zealot gets in. Zealot does get into the main base. SCV is going to be going down. We get a full scout as well. The fact that there is nothing else in the main. Big tell. I'm curious, do we get a Void Ray defensively? I feel like that has to be the call. Adept pulls back. We're trying to figure out what's happening. We're going for a Phoenix first, not a Void Ray. We can see for Jimmy, he is trying to scout. Zealot did go down. Baby Marine also looking for a proxy gateway. And we'll see how this all is pieced together. We have a safety shield battery here on the low ground. We have a gateway on the way as well for, again, additional production. So far, things are looking okay here for Jimmy. It's going to be really risky. Like, these Phoenixes are so fragile. And they're going to be so important here in the defense. And there's the Robo. It is a delayed Robo. That's what I'm concerned about. It isn't a Robo opener. It's a Robo follow-up. So we have a delayed Immortal on the way. And here we go. The Cyclones are amassing. Boys are being pulled as well. We mentioned before, they can buffer for the Cyclones. They can also repair. As we are amassing an army. Baby Marine completely all in with this. He's looking to break through. Guessing some of the adepts. Good pickups here so far from these Phoenixes. The overcharge is not keeping these units alive. And the adepts, they refuse to go down. So far, every single SCV falls. And these Cyclones, they're not really gaining any ground here. Again, the overcharge a little bit too good. We have a second shield battery behind this. We are holding. We're shutting down the Cyclones one after the other. And we're running out of units. Again, we're trading with the Zealots, but we're not trading with the Stalkers. Phoenixes, they need a little bit more time to gather up energy. Another Cyclone goes down. Good target firing, but we pick up another Cyclone here. And again, we're down to 3 Cyclones. Here comes some reinforcements for Jimmy overextending. Uh-oh. Jimmy does overextend for a moment. Ooh, picks off another Cyclone. Good target firing. It's getting close. Baby Marine, he's breaking through. But the Immortal gets here just in time. Again, it was a delayed Immortal, but it has arrived. Instantly takes out one of those Cyclones. The longer this goes on, the worse it is for Baby Marine, and we will chase this down. All the Phoenixes will fall, but we trade with the Cyclones. GG gets called for Jimmy will hold, and we'll tie up the series 1-1. GG. Wasn't as clean as Skillus, nowhere near, but a hold nonetheless, and that's all that matters. For Jimmy does hold, does survive. Again, the fact that we had 2 shield batteries, that was a big part of that. The fact that we had shield batteries, that we fought within range of the overcharge initially, cleaning up all of the SCVs. By the time the SCVs had died, we still even had a little bit of time left on that overcharge, and for Jimmy, he used that time well. Picking off as much as he could under the safety of that. Did overextend 1 or 2 times, but overall was able to hold on long enough for his eventual Immortal production, and did hold on. GG, well played. With that, we're going to the ace match. We are going all the way to game number 3. Here we go. As spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player, representing Team Little Fairy from the land of Germany. It is for Jimmy. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Terran player, representing Team Platinum Heroes. It is Baby Marine. Again, for Jimmy, holding, surviving against the all-in of his opponent in that last game. And now we found ourselves in the ace match. It all ends here. It all ends in game number 3. But which direction will this take us in? We're loading into a Hecate, a bit of a larger map in the map pool. A little bit more macro-oriented compared to Hard-Lead, for example. And this time, Baby Marine throwing down his racks back at home. It is not proxied. It's not elsewhere. And we're going to be able to settle into this. So far, everything's looking as it should. Looking like a Rax expand out of Baby Marine. Probe Scout does dip in and should eventually get eyes on, again, the CC, which is soon to be on the way. From for Jimmy, a little bit more greedy here, actually going for a straight-up gate expand, delaying his Cyber Core by a moment here in favor of a faster Nexus. So, very economic opener out of for Jimmy. And, oh, we do have Baby Marine going to be looking to try and punish this. Okay. It was a single gas opener, that is true, but upon noticing and recognizing how economic his opponent is being, we have a faster factory. Now, this should be leading into an add-on swap, and this could be going into double Hellion production or double Cyclone production. Either or are on the table. Again, Baby Marine looking to be quite aggressive here as a follow-up. We'll see if he can pull it off. Meanwhile, the probe is going to be coming in for another scout. It wasn't able to really confirm what was happening, but we'll get eyes on the reactor. And oh, the probe is going to go down, and there's the add-on swap. So again, Baby Marine is going to be looking to deal some economic damage with this, as he is delaying his expansion by quite a lot. This doesn't have to be a one-base all-in, but my eyes are on this SCV, and we're going for a proxy starport. Okay, let's go. A very aggressive opener here from Baby Marine, delaying his expansion by a lot, by so much. Now, with this proxy starport, we can go one of two ways. We can go for a medevac for a drop into the main, or we can go for a liberator for some Hellion harass in one base and liberator harass in the other. Both options are viable. We'll see which direction we go. The depth does shade into the main base. So we're going to kill on a Marine. Up! Oh. We do get shut down. We should also recognize that the starport or the second rack, so the rest of the production is missing as we do go for another add-on swap. Going for only 4 Hellions, and it is going to be a Hellion drop into the main. Now, there's a lot of potential with this. If Fort Jimmy is not in position, he could be in a lot of trouble. Behind this, it is going to be a Stargate opener, going for an Oracle first. This can help. Oracles, they do have quite a lot of DPS, and they can focus down these Hellions. Hellions have been spotted. We're going into the natural. We do go for the dive. Oracle has rocked up, but probes are being pulled. And Worker's going to be going down. 3 probes already. Up. But with the Oracle, we can chase down these Hellions, and there's only 2 left, which means this drop isn't really impactful. It does feel like Baby Marine, he pulled the trigger too early here. The reason why I say this is it takes 3 Hellions to one-shot a probe, which is why a quadruple Hellion drop is so deadly, but we only have 2 left. This is not really that threatening, to be honest. It's going to take some extra volleys to really kill anything, and the Hellions that dropped into the main base are going for the mirror line. Medevac is going to be targeted down for a moment there, but we can pick up the Hellions and we can shut this down. We do kill 3 probes, which is something, don't get me wrong, it's okay. We also get eyes on the Phoenixes. In total, 7 worker kills for 4 Hellions. It's pretty good. And at least we save the Medevac. Medevac is going to be saved. As it races back home, so does the starport, and from here we're just settling back into this, getting into our 2-1-1. Soon to be a 3rd Rax, I imagine. Stasis Trap is going to get baited out, and for Jimmy just going straight up Phoenix Colossus. Now, interesting, we're going for a Bay before the 3rd base, so very safe opener. Typically, we see a faster expansion, but for Jimmy is going to be delaying it, and that makes a lot of sense against Baby Marine. Does make a lot of sense against our Terran player, just because Baby Marine is so aggressive. There's that 3rd Rax on the way, so a 3-1-1 setup, pretty standard here on 2 bases. For Jimmy going for a delayed 3rd. The game is going to be settling from here. The other downside about the 7 worker kills is that Baby Marine did delay his expansion for it as well. So it wasn't just that he was looking for damage, but he also delayed his own economy to try to deal economic damage as well. Here we go. Marines are moving out. Big revelation on the army. For Jimmy, his supply blocks, or his immortal, sorry, his Colossus is going to be delayed. Does at least have an immortal and a force field. He should be able to defend here on top of the ramp. But that's why Baby Marine, he avoids the ramp. He's going to go the long way around, rotating towards the left-hand side. Revelation will get eyes on the army. We do have a shield battery at the natural. But Jimmy being forced back. The probes! Oh! Oh my god. Rarely will survive. There we go. We do catch a couple transferring workers. We dive on top of the shield battery as well. Shield battery is going to go down, but the Colossi has arrived, and with the Colossus we can swap this away. But hey, we got 4 probe kills. Pretty good. Baby Marine doesn't really lose anything. He may lose a Marine, but that's kind of it. Did I speak too soon? We're good. He does race back. Again, it was 6 Marines for 4 probes and a shield battery. Again, not a bad trade here for Baby Marine, not losing any gas units. But we'll retreat, and behind this we have additional Raxes and a 3rd CC on the way, which is going to be scattered by Fort Jimmy. He's aware. Here we go. Now it's going to be the Protoss' turn to get some economic damage done. 5 SCVs go down. Fort Jimmy is able to reciprocate. Behind this, we're getting into a 5 rack setup here on 3 bases, and we're getting into the mid game for the first time. We haven't had like a proper back and forth mid game, it feels, in TVP yet. Like Spirit versus Skilless was also very aggressive and just very almost unorthodox as well. Like, I guess technically Skilless did get up to 6 bases, but he also had map control and he was containing Spirit to 3. So a very different dynamic. But here we go. Baby Marine is pushing on the right-hand side. Likewise, we have a Widowmine drop going straight for that natural. There we go. We do boost on in. Widowmines will burrow. And do we react? Oh, we do, but late. Oh my god, big connections. 8 probes go down. And we still have 1 Widowmine shot left here on the high ground. And up. We do pick up in time. Just barely. We do need detection for these additional Widowmines though. And Baby Marine is pushing. There we go, observers on the way. These Widowmines should not reset. They should not reset. Oh god! Okay. They barely don't. As for Jumi, does have the rest of his army here at his third. Was in position, scan did reveal that, so Baby Marine backs off. He sees all the Colossi and he's like, I want none of that. Which is understandable. So Baby Marine will retreat. Meanwhile, behind this, we do have a second robot on the way for double Colossus production. Disruptors as well. Alright, we're already at 3 Colossi, of course. So we already have 3 Colossi, getting to all those Disruptors. Medevacs are moving out, and Baby Marine has to rely a lot more on drop play here. Just being as active as he can with these Marines. His main army, though, marauding on the right-hand side. Colossi are in position for Jumi. So far, he is holding onto his 4 bases. And the Zealot Runby does come in, does drag Baby Marine back home. It doesn't get too much done, but that's going to be 3 dead workers. Three workers do go down. Baby Marine, when it comes to his main army, as he's getting up to 3-base saturation, he has the Ghost Academy, he's sprinkling in a couple of Ghosts, he has Vikings as well. Gonna be pretty reliant on those EMPs. So here we go, he's just trying to pull apart the army, but no, for Jumi is in position. A good force fields. Yeah, the Ghosts are getting picked up, the Ghosts get lifted even, oh my god. And every single Ghost goes down. But we are still lacking a bit of a buffer here. We're lacking some gateway units. Before Jumi, he deflects both armies. Disruptors have arrived. An overextension! Both Disruptors go down. Big pickups. Very nice pickups there from Baby Marine. Bit of a miss rally from Fort Jumi. And suddenly, Baby Marine, he's not looking too bad here. I mean, sure, he lost all of his Ghosts, but he killed 2 Disruptors. I mean, I say that for Jumi. His economy is still looking strong, getting into additional Disruptors to replace the ones he lost. Dark Shrine is on the way. Both players taking some losses, maybe a better way to put it. The Ghosts for the Disruptors. As Baby Marine, he's still trying to pull Fort Jumi apart. That's going to be a 3rd robo on the way. Let's go for the scan. How many Vikings do we have? Only 5. That's not that many. And the Disruptor count is getting higher and higher. Yeah, Fort Jumi. I mean, Baby Marine, he knows he can't quite commit here. Comes in with another force. Go for the Colossus. We have an overcharge. The Colossus is safe. Dive, not quite worth it. You know what, we do push in towards the right-hand side and we are out of position. Shield battery goes down. We're going for the Nexus. Nervous go up. Does graze the army. That was a bold move out of Baby Marine and he almost got the Nexus. It got very low. 1 or 2 more seconds and it would have gone down, but it would have also cost the entire army. And that would have triggered a counterattack. Fourth base is being taken. Still being quite active, and we're going to be losing quite a bit here. 2 the Phoenixes. 1 medevac goes down. We just trade against the Phoenix, though. Now, what's important when it comes to the army compositions is both players are getting up to 4 bases. 1, we have a lot of Disruptors. Remember, it's triple robo production, so we're making 3 Disruptors at a time. And we are up to how many? 5. Soon to be 7. But at the same time, Baby Marine isn't resting on his laurels. He isn't just staying on a Bio-Viking composition. We have +1 ship weapons, we have a 2nd starport, and a fusion core on the way. We are working towards Liberators. You could argue that this could have been done a little bit sooner, but Liberators are in production, and we need them. Never goes up. Ooh, decent connection. We got some Marauders, we get a good chunk of Marines. It's 8 Marines going down, and we do deny a hatchery, we do deny an exit, sorry. But is there enough to really push in? Nova zoning back the army. Do get a Colossus. There's not a lot of anti-air. The Vikings, they can go ham. But a big Nova. We clean up all the Colossi, but what about the rest of the ground army? As Baby Marine, he loses far too much there. Was not worth it. Stuck around too long, and he lost so much of his Bioforce. That was 27 Marines go down and 10 Marauders. Ay, ay, ay. Not like this. And sure, we got all 3 Colossus, but we don't care about the Colossus. Not anymore. There's Liberator range on the way. Again, we're still working towards those libs. Without them, for Jimmy, it does feel like he does have free reign. The first 3 Liberators are in production. And he has the freedom to just wall up. That's a 4th Robo? So, okay. Like, 3 Robos is good enough. A 4th is a bit excessive. Like, typically in this position, instead of going for a 4th Robo, we throw down a Fleet Beacon and a 2nd Stargate. And there it is. Like, we have +1 air attack on the way. This should be a Skytoss transition. This is... I mean, you know, disruptors are good, I guess. They're fine. We can make 4 at a time if we ever lose them. True. For Jimmy, he likes his balls, Bobby. He likes them. Who am I to deny him? Nova's going to be sending back the army. You could argue a little bit wasteful, but we have plenty of disruptors, so we just zone him back. Have plenty in the chamber. There's that 2nd Stargate on the way. Now we have the Fleet Beacon as well. Again, this could have been a little bit earlier, but it's fine. As for Jimmy's working on Skytoss, as the Liberators have been revealed. We dive on in. Oh, bit trigger happy with those Novas. 4 Novas go off, but we do zone back the army. The Stalkers do overextend. Barely do take down the lib at the same time. A massive DT counterattack. We take down the Planetary, and 19 SCVs go down. The Dark Templar going ham. I was focusing on the balls, but really I should be focusing on the Invisible Man. As that's going to be 21 SCVs, even a couple more Dark Templar here on the right-hand side. 21 workers go down, and that Planetary. Suddenly, Baby Marine, he is hurting. You can see for Jimmy rotating on the right-hand side. He does have eyes on this base, and he wants it. Baby Marine going to be rotating over. Gets here 1 second too late. Focus have arrived. They focus on one of those Liberators. Nova's going to be going up. Good splits. Good splits against the Novas. And they do not connect. And 4 Jimmy's being forced back at the same time. Here come the DTs. They're not done. They got 1 base, but there is detection. Yeah, they go for the turret, but they will not get it. They get 1. They get 1 of those turrets. Meanwhile, Baby Marine, his army's overstimmed. Uh oh. Army pretty heavily overstimmed as we do pull back. Baby Marine, he is going to be holding. 4 Jimmy actually plummeting in supply. Oh my god. Like, he's got a good economy. He's got a good bank. But yeah, his production was lacking for a moment there. And there we go, making 3 Disruptors and a Colossus, as well as a Mothership as well. Very, very high-tech army. But we are lacking a buffer, and there we go. We have a Warp into Stalkers. We're Jimmy remaxing. No Tempest yet, or Carriers, but is soon to be on the way. +1 air attack is done. Well, the Mothership is going to be a big moment here as it is revealed. Remember, Mothership can recall. We dive on the army. Liberation zones are thrown down. Freedom has arrived. And this is why something like Tempest is so important. What's the answer to Libs? Typically Tempest. Typically Skytoss. Moving in with a ground army is going to be difficult. Not impossible. There's only 3 Liberators. And we have plenty of Stalkers to focus 1 down and focus down the 2nd and soon to be the 3rd. Yeah, every Liberator does fall, and there's just not enough on the ground. We're breaking through. We're going for the recall. We recall just in time to defend. Oh my god. Baby Marine, he was committed. But Fujimi in position. Observer gets picked off. Rest of the army pushing in. Both players consolidating their forces. As Fujumi's taking another center base. Scan does reveal the army. Baby Marine rotating over. He is keeping up. Now remember, we just used the recall on the mothership, which means we can't aggressively recall into the main or anything like that. God, that's a lot of libs! 7 liberators, oh my god! Freedom has arrived and there's no pushing into this. 2 SCVs go down. Baby Marine does hold, at the same time taking his own center base. Oh, but here comes the Invisible Man. Here we go. How many Dark Templar? 9. 9 DTs. Main armies are clashing. Liberations have arrived. Big Novas. They will connect. But a good concave here from Baby Marine. Yeah, he gets on some of the disruptors. That's what, 4 or 5 disruptors going down. A big overextension here from Fujimi. Going to be losing everything. Barely does escape with 1 Colossus. At the same time, DTs, they do get on top of the planetary. And can they bring it down? It's going to be close. They cannot. The repairs are too good. The planetary will survive. Across the map, Fujimi barely holding on again. The army is overstimmed. Baby Marine, does he have enough? He's going for the mothership. And Nova does not connect. Ghosts are coming in to reinforce. It looks like this position has been broken. Base is going to be going down. Fujimi in quite a lot of trouble here. He's been losing too much. That's the problem. He lost, again, so many disruptors in the last fight. Baby Marine is snowballing out of control. Slowly leapfrogging forward with those liberators. Also, on top of that, the fact that the planetary survived as well was huge. Looks like these DTs killed the center base, which is nice, but not as valuable as the planetary. And Fujimi, he just lost 1 Nexus. He's going to lose another. And this Nexus is going to be going down. Fujimi, he's going for a base trade. Yeah, we're going for a base trade here. And both players are hurting. Both players will be losing their most important mining bases. Repairs are looking okay, but eventually this should fall. Here come reinforcements. They're going for the Colossus. Oh, they get it. Big snipe here on the Colossus. The planetary survives. The planetary refuses to die here. As we're trading with the Stalkers, a lot of SCVs are going down. At the same time, Baby Marine, he's pushing in. And we're in full base trade mode. Looks like the planetary will eventually go down to those Zealots. This base has been broken. And what are we looking at the moment here? Probes are going to be going down. They are not saved. Fujimi, though, has the better worker count. He's taking the center base, and Baby Marine, he's racing back home. He did kill 3 bases, though. But alas, he lost 2 of his own. He's getting another CC up and running. This is the main. He floated it over as his 4th, or 5th, I guess. Up. Does get the observer. When it comes to the main armies, though, 5 disruptors. Now, on paper, I want to say that Fujimi has the better army, but it depends if he can connect with these Novas. So far, good splits. Does get a handful of units. We do have a couple more Novas here in the back line. But the freedom, it's here. Once again, zoning back the army. Zoning the army away. This means we can go for this southern base, and yeah, we go right for the Nexus. There's no passing this area. We are cut off. And we're going for another base trade. Fujimi going to be losing a Nexus. At the same time, Fujimi going for a CC. And Baby Marine, he's aware. He pulls back. Does evacuate ahead of time. And Baby Marine, he's going to get 1. He's going to get 2 of these bases. Very important bases here for Fujimi. Recalling those probes. He recalls to the save it. No! The wrong recall. Not like this. The probes, some of them will be saved, but not all. Meanwhile, Fujimi is not slowing down. Takes down another command center. Looking to push up that ramp. Baby Marine is turning back home. He's coming back. Oh, that's a lot of DTs. Okay, we have 6 Liberators against 4 Disruptors. The Dark Templar do pose a threat when it comes to harassing, not in the main army because there are so many ghosts for EMPs. Dark Templar are trying to avoid that. We have a potential surround set up here. The Observer does spot the movement of Baby Marine, so Jimmy knows he's pushing in. He avoids the fight, catches a couple of units, pushing into the natural. He can always recall back home. Oh wait, no, sorry, his recall's on cooldown. Uh-oh. Remember, the base recall is on cooldown. The Mothership recall is still available. Another Nexus falls. Novas go up. Again, very trigger happy. That was 3 Novas. We have 1 left. Now we have none. 0 Novas remaining, and Baby Marine, he can dive. He can just dive on this army. He knows. And he gets 1. The slow zone slowing him down. He gets 2 disruptors. Sorry, 3 disruptors. There's 1 left. There's 1 disruptor left with this army. We have more that are banking up back at home. And for Jumi, he is being cornered. Yeah, there's no way out. Another Nexus is going to be falling. At the same time, DTs, they do harass across the map, but there is detection and Liberators as well. DTs, they are getting in. Again, this is the last mining base of Baby Marine. I guess 1.5 bases, to be fair. Nexus is being retaken. For Jumi, barely has an economy right now. 0 mining for the Protoss. And yeah, forced to recall. Leaves out a couple of Zealots, does recall back home. And it looks like Baby Marine, he has done it. He has mining, that's what's important. He can produce. He still has 2 bases. And has a terrifying army as well. For Jumi was a little bit too wasteful with his disruptors earlier, or throughout this game. We need some miracle connections. We have Dark Templar in the main. Distracting Baby Marine for a moment. Again, for Jumi sees everything with these observers. Couple of good swipes. Slow zone is thrown down. Scanner reveals all those disruptors. Okay, this base is getting back up and running. But for Jumi needs so much more time here to recover because Baby Marine, he's about to max out. Again, because of his economy, because of his production, he's on the cusp of maxing. The disruptor's looking a little bit exposed. Novas will not connect. We have 3 more Novas left. Now we have 2. 2 Novas remaining. Now 1. Okay, we have to count the Novas. Jimmy gonna be backing up. Dark Templar are still wreaking havoc here, picking up some tech structures. Disruptors are resetting. Oh! Nothing major yet. Yeah, and here we go. We can just bully this back. Liberation has arrived. We do manage to catch one of those disruptors. Disruptors? Observers. Marauder does come across the last mining base. Yeah, we're going for the drop. Speaking of, oh, nice catch. Full Medivac. 2 full Medivacs go down. This is the moment the Jumi was waiting for. The beginning of a comeback. We're not there yet, but a really nice moment. Taking some hits. That Marauder was cleaned up. But again, this Observer has been the MVP. Seeing all the movement here of Baby Marine. Speaking of, the Observer goes down. Now for Jumi in the dark. Better connection than we've seen in quite some time. Not bad. Raises the army. Again, Forjumi can never commit to a fight. And we're taking another base. Baby Marine getting further ahead. Likewise, Forjumi also expanding. Okay, there's a world. If this like posturing continues, and if Forjumi is able to pick off like another full medevac, like a big Nova connecting or something, then maybe we can eventually max out and catch up. But even one Liberator is all it takes, and with Liberator range, we can't deal with this without the mothership. Yeah. Thankfully, we have an air unit. Thankfully. Speaking of, we never got into Skytoss despite the fleet beacon. Skytoss was never something that Forjumi really invested into, other than the mothership. And here we go, Baby Marine, he has maxed out, and now is the time to push. We've been respecting those disruptors quite a bit, but with 9 Liberators, we can just throw down our zones and bully the army. And we just dive on it. We don't even care anymore. We focus out all the disruptors, and one does connect, but we kill every single disruptor in the process. Baby Marine, he has had enough. He pulls the trigger, forces a recall, gets us around, cleans up every single robo unit. At the same time, we're recalling into the main. Forjumi doing what he can, doing everything he can. He has one more recall left. But he has lost too much. And we're going straight for the Nexus. Where can we recall? A couple of Stalkers to escape, the mothership as well. But Forjumi does lose everything, and we can just go straight for the mothership. The Liberator auto attacks, brings it down. The Nexus does fall, and it looks like we have found the final base here of Forjumi. And Baby Marine is going right for it. So again, Forjumi fighting his heart out here. I mean, he had an advantage at a time in this game. Like, it was quite back and forth. Both players had their moments. But I do think that this Skytoss transition was a little bit too late, and we never got to make use of it. We were stuck with a mass disruptor-based army, and there were too many moments where we just caught out. We got caught out. GG gets called, and Baby Marine will take the series 2-1, taking down Forjumi. GG. GG, well played. Baby Marine popping off here tonight. Didn't look too bad against Skillus earlier, and now has brought down Forjumi as well. GG, well played. Well played. There were some tense moments, definitely. There were some even really good moments for Forjumi as well. Again, I do think that when he was getting like his 5th and 6th base up and running, where he was able to stabilize and we had both players maxed out, I do think that like tech-wise, getting into Skytoss was the next kind of moment, or the next step for Forjumi, a step that he never really embraced. Throwing down the 4th robo was a tell that he wanted to thrive a little bit more and stick around a little bit more with Mass Disruptor, and it was a couple too many times where he got caught out, and he was just bleeding out so many disruptors and trading a little bit too inefficiently, and yeah, eventually that snowballed out of control. It was very chaotic as well. We had a lot of like quote-unquote base trade moments where, because of how large Hecate is, like both armies would just be missing each other and just going for their own bases instead, and it was great. A lot of fun. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Baby Marine, kind of thriving in the chaos of that game. And with that, we have one series left tonight. One series left. It's going to be a PvP between Showtime and Skillus. Here we go. One series left. Bam. There it is. Between some of the best Protosses that Europe has to offer. Again, Showtime, Skillus, and Max Packs are the top 3, but HomeStory Cup is an offline event, and like many offline events, Max Packs is not there. So Showtime and Skillus are instead looking to wave that Protoss flag in the absence of Max Packs, and we'll see how they fare against each other. Let's go. Hello, Happy New Year to the Ducklings. Oh, Happy New Year, chow down. Happy New Year. Feliz Año Nuevo, papi. Feliz Año Nuevo. Here we go. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Hardlead, we have our blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid, taking a bit of a break I'm sure enjoying that last series, but he's now diving back into a PvP. It is Skillous. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the German Protoss player, the Red Protoss, representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG. It is showtime. Here we go. Final series is here, and again, Showtime and Skillous, some of the bigger names in this group, alongside Spirit, of course. Looking to determine who has the best PvP amongst them, where this takes us. Now, Showtime has already bled earlier today. Remember, he did lose to Forjumi in a PvP. Forjumi really flexing his aggression and having a lot of mind games. Again, there was a lot of mind games going on in that first series of the night. I highly recommend checking it out. It was a very fun Protoss versus Protoss between those two players. And we'll see if Skillous can achieve the same, or we'll see if Showtime can tighten things up and bounce back. His probes are moving out. Showtime is going to be opting to hide his second pylon here. Again, it is going to be a fake proxy pylon at a Showtime. And as Skillous comes in, he will recognize that, hold up, your second pylon should be here, and it isn't. Skillous' second pylon is in his main base, so standard opener out of Skillous, and he's going to have to take this seriously, going to have to try to figure out where exactly that pylon is and how committed Showtime is to this proxy. We know that it's fake, but Skillous doesn't. As we see Skillous just checking the main base thoroughly, making sure that everything is on the up and up before moving out. We see Skillous going for a double Stalker opener. Showtime going Stalker Sentry. A much safer opener here out of Showtime. Ooh, as he does go into the main base, does get the tech of choice, does scout the tech of choice. It's going to be a delayed expansion from Skillous, going for a Stargate first. And Showtime, with this information, goes for his own reactive Stargate. Okay. Interesting. So we do have quite a lot going on here. One, Skillous should be denied the scout. He will not get into the main base, which means Skillous doesn't know it's a Stargate. He did see the lack of expansion, but remember, there could be a proxy. And we're looking. Right now, Skillous, he's checking the edges of the map, looking for any potential proxy. Now, with this reactive Stargate, we can go Phoenix. Skillous is going Oracle first. Ooh, even throwing down a shield battery and a second pylon. He thinks it's an all-in. Uh-oh. Skillous, he is being bamboozled a little bit here. I mean, he didn't see the expansion. His probe died, and then we expanded. So, Skillous being fed false information. Now he comes in, now he sees the expansion, and now we cancel. Forcing her, oh my god! Showtime! The mind games! Hallucination fakes out Skillous, forces the recall. Skillous going for a delayed expansion. Oracle's moving out, but the Phoenix is soon to show up, I believe. No, sorry, we canceled. Never mind. The Phoenix wasn't started first here for Showtime. Going Oracle instead. Skillous confirming, of course, the base location. Skillous, he hasn't seen the Stargate. He doesn't know to prepare back at home. He is so vulnerable in the main. He freaked out against the fake, against the hallucinated Oracle, but now it's a real one. Here we go, the Oracle dives in, is going to be shut down by the Phoenix. At the same time, Showtime dives in as well, and there's nothing in the main to defend. Activate bot. There we go, probes are going down. The Oracle will fall. Showtime, he defends, and across the map, he's killing 8, 9, 10, 11 probes. He's having his way with Skillous, and again, Skillous, he's just been pulled left and right. Completely torn apart here. Second Oracle comes in. GG gets called, and Showtime takes game number 1. Coming out heavily here with the mind games. GG. Oh my god. The mental battle that just took place. Where Skillous believed it was an all-in initially, so he was hard reacting to it, then realized it wasn't an all-in, then he freaked out against the fake Oracle, then it was a real Oracle after, like, what is real? What is even real? As Skillous, yeah, just gets thrown for a loop. And Showtime, takes game number 1 in a pretty fancy fashion as well. You don't really see that too often. But yeah, Skillus had no idea what was happening. It was wild. It was a very chaotic game, and yeah, very stressful for Skillus to try to keep up with what exactly Showtime was up to. Yeah, just the mental gymnastics, crazy. GG, well played. Showtime having a bit of fun there, and really flexing his own prowess, showing that Showtime doesn't have to rely on just macro and defensive play. He himself can be aggressive and can even terrify his own opponent into like overreacting in different directions. Really cool stuff. That was really cool to see as we're getting into game number 2 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Golden Aura, hopefully recovering mentally. Like we can just piece the brain back together after that last game, and we're settling into game 2, hopefully with a reset mind. As in the bottom right hand corner we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Liquid. It is Skillus. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Protoss player representing Berlin International Gaming, BIG. It is Showtime. And yeah, again, hopefully Skillus can take a moment to breathe. After the nonsense that was that last game, and we can settle into Golden Aura. Now, speaking of Golden Aura, very small map, very short rush distance by ground as well, so we'll see if we make use of it. As for now, it looks like a 2-gate opener from both players. No one is tempted to go for a gate expand. Not here, not on Golden Aura. So some pretty standard openers for the time being. And we'll see if any proxy pylons get thrown down. As we catch up in the chat, yo, shout out to Complete. Happy New Year's, Pap. Feliz. As we are nearing the end of our matches here tonight. Probes are moving out. Once again, Showtime does hide his first pylon. Once again, going to be a fake proxy pylon as well. We are not committing. The probe is moving out for a scout. Meanwhile, Skillus dips in, and for a second game in a row, Skillus will recognize that the pylon is missing. So Skillus knows that something is wrong. Obviously, after the conclusion of the last game, Skillus knows that in game 1 it was a fake proxy pylon, but here in game 2, he may believe it's a real one. As we know, it's fake, man. It's fake. As Showtime is coming in for a probe scout. Meanwhile, big shout to Complete Noob in the chat. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Oh my god, thank you so much. A lot of people have been generous recently. These past 2 broadcasts, I think we've gotten like 30 gifted subs, maybe like 40 gifted subs so far over the past like 2 days, 3 days. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. We do appreciate the support so much. Thank you, and I hope everyone that got the subs do appreciate it as well. Enjoy your emotes, enjoy your replay packs. If you are not a part of our Discord server, we do send out replays on a regular basis to our subscribers. So if you want to learn how to play like these players, or even just get your hands on these replays yourself, then we do give them out to our subscribers. So thank you, Papi, thank you. Shout out to Tokasik, Tier Simon, Ortinko, Sif, and Mephiel. Thank you so much. Hope you all appreciate it. Big shout out to Completes. Big shout out. Gracias, papi, gracias. Feliz año nuevo. As we're settling into this, and it looks like we have pretty safe openers all around. Skillus did open up Sentry. Very wise choice. With the Sentry opener, he's going to be able to go for Hallucination, and he does confirm everything that's going on. He does confirm the standard opener of his opponent. And both players are going Twilight Council. Twilight Council opener out of Showtime. Twilight Council opener out of Skillus. Showtime's is slightly faster, so there's a very small window where he has Blink over his opponent. Very small window. Whereas Skillus will not, but it's only by a couple of seconds, not the biggest of windows. As this time we're recovering and we're moving past the early game, and we're going to be settling into the mid game as we establish ourselves on 2 bases. Likewise, Showtime also coming in with his own hallucination scouts, and both players are fully aware of what the other is up to. See, Kid Colombiano at work. Bienvenido. Love those perks. Always watch replays at work. Nice, nice. Yeah, there are some people that just want to watch themselves. You can, of course, learn from them yourselves. You can cast them yourselves. Oh, as soon as they do get into the main base, and they're going to get quite a lot done here. Skillous out of position. 4 probes going down. A good start here for Showtime. Again, the pylon block was a little bit too late. Behind this, Showtime getting ready for a 3rd base. Again, he's not really being too aggressive or too assertive. Just shading him with a couple of adepts and taking an economic lead. And he's going to be looking to extend that lead by taking his 3rd. Likewise, Skillous also taking his 3rd base, which is scouted by Showtime. So Showtime, he's aware that there's no big gateway explosion. It's only 2 gateways here for Skillous. Likewise, only 2 gateways from Showtime. So we're just easing our way, again, into a 3-base economy. After a chaotic game 1 here in game number 2, where we're calming things down. Forge is on the way for +1. Likewise, Forge on the way for Showtime as well. Both players working on their upgrades and working on their 3-base economy. We're just calming things down. We can see, of course, with these Forges, we should be working on gateway-centric compositions. There it is, charges on the way for Skillous, so he's going for Blink Stalkers and Charge Lots. Meanwhile, Showtime has avoided Charge entirely for the time being. Focusing a lot more here on pure Blink Stalkers instead. Ooh, we have our first big deviation. Outside of Charge, of course, and our army composition is going to be looking a little bit different. Skillous, before his 3rd is even done, we throw down a 4th. Very fast 4th base. I think this is very necessary. So, Skillous, oh, as he does shut down Hallucination, very nice denial. Showtime doesn't see the 4th. So, essentially, this makes a lot of sense because Skillous knows he's behind. He knows he lost probes earlier. He also should be aware that his expansion was later than his opponent's as well. So, how do we catch up? 4th base. Fast, much faster 4th base here for Skillous. So he will be able to recover in the economy. Currently, he's down, what, 4 to 5 probes? Soon he will be catching up. Meanwhile, Showtime, instead of investing into a 4th base, is going for his own gateway explosion. And likewise, so is Skillous. Gateway explosions are on the way, and both players will soon be focusing on their armies. As Showtime is going to be a little bit behind with his own charge timing. Overall, both players are going to be working with the same kind of overall composition. Skills will have the faster 4th, as it's already done. Showtime's is still on the way. And Showtime will now confirm that the Nexus has completed. But it may be too late to do anything about this. Showtime is moving out. Again, there's a little bit more pressure on Showtime to try to punish this faster 4th. We'll see if he can. Again, I worry that too much time has passed, that we have a shield battery, an overcharge. Skillous should be able to hold on. He is down in army supply, but he has the defender's advantage. Hallucination gets shut down. We have a Prism dipping into the main army threatening the 4th. Observer does spot the main army. Stalkers are being peeled off, and we do dive on top of the Prism. Up! And it looks like we will get it. Oh, just barely we don't. The Prism does survive. Ooh. The slither of HP. Does make it out, as we do get a big warp in here of reinforcements. Showtime reinforcing as well. Already working on +2. I think this is a bit of an oversight. Skillous never started +2 himself. Which is a little bit concerning. So Showtime is going to have a bit of an upgrade advantage. Does come across the 5th. And he dives right into the 4th as well. Skillous out of position. Shield battery goes down. Good force fields. Very nice force fields here from Showtime. The Zealous just cannot take part. They trickle in. And Showtime at the same... He's just all over this. He's at the 4th. He's at the 5th. And he is looking to cancel. Stalkers, they try to engage here, but the Zealous, they're breaking through. And Showtime is having a better fight. At the same time, the 3rd is under threat. Skillous, he has to reinforce. And it looks like he will hold on to his 4th base, but he lost the Nexus. The Nexus did go down. And here on the right-hand side, Showtime is gaining ground as well. No shield battery, no overcharge, no static defense, and we get into the middle line. The probes. Skillous, he was pulled apart. Wasn't able to defend, wasn't able to protect his third base. And Showtime did pull him apart. It was a chaotic moment here, but Showtime, he killed 2 bases. The center 5th and the 3rd. At the same time, we get a warping into the main base, but we have plenty to defend. Zealots are cleaned up. And Skillous, one swift move was all it took. Where Skillous lost his observer, there was a prism, of course, it was threatening him. Skillous didn't have eyes on this army, and he was just caught out of position. And just like that, oh my god. We had a bit of a pause. But Skillous is down to 3 bases. Down in army. He's trying to chase this down. That prism, though, it's not going to fall. And Showtime, he has an upgraded advantage as well. He has +2. GG gets called. Showtime popping off here. Takes the series 2-0. Takes down Skillous. GG. Oh my god. GG, well played. Very impressive series here out of Showtime. Game 1 was the standout game where it was just wild. The mind games just really threw Skillous out of the game entirely, and he just was really having a hard time keeping up with Showtime. Here it was a lot more back and forth and a lot more stable, but it did come down to, of course, Showtime having a slightly larger army and being able to pull apart the attention of Skillous once again, just forcing him to split up his army, and Skillous was one step behind when it came to the movement of Showtime. Showtime was able to outposition Skillous, and from there very quickly snowball out of control. Surprisingly so. I didn't expect things to go that awry that quickly in favor of Showtime, but impressive stuff nonetheless. GG, well played. Well played here by Showtime, and with that he will take the series 2-0, and that will be concluding our coverage for Group C tonight. So we do switch our scenes over. Again, of course, a big shout to Complete for all those gifted subs. But these are our results here from tonight. Just going over Group C. We had 4Jumi popping off at the start of the evening, at the start of the broadcast, with the 2-1 over Showtime. We had Skillous having a close series against Baby Marine. A lot of 3-1s actually. Like a lots of back and forths, a lot of ace matches here between all of our players, which we do love to see. And I appreciate that even though there are some like veterans here with Showtime, with Spirit, with Skillous, we still had 4Jumi and Baby Marine fighting back. They were able to fight back, able to take their own series, their own maps, and they didn't look too bad themselves either. Again, impressive stuff. Always willing to cheer for and root for some of these younger up-and-coming players. So much love to 4Jumi and Baby Marine. Here at the end of the night, Showtime got his revenge in PvP. Did fall to 4Jumi, but looked damn in form against Skillous. Again, maybe Showtime just needed a little bit of time to warm up and really get into the zone, as all these matches were played back to back over the course of the night. And this was merely only half of the broadcast, because I say that only half of the group. We will be wrapping up here for tonight, but the next time we cover Group C, we'll have some Zerg. We'll have some Zerg representation, some surprising Zerg representation. This is the other half of the group. We have Spirit versus Baby Marine in a TVT. We have Stefano, who is also featured in this group as the lone Zerg player. Stefano, of course, has been retired for a long time. Not the most active of players, but really cool to see that he was a part of this. Really cool to see that he was a part of HomeStory Cup. Hey, mate, yo, there's a party? Stefano's gonna be there, okay? There's a party in Europa. I'm sure Stefano, he will be there. You can rely on him. Rely on Stefano. As he was at HomeStory Cup 24. We are going to be featuring him against 4Jumi and Baby Marine. We have, of course, Spirit versus Showtime and Skillous versus 4Jumi as well. This will be for the next broadcast, though. For the next broadcast. So something to look forward to. I haven't casted Stefano in a very long time, so I'm curious to see what kind of form he's in. Very curious indeed, so do look forward to his matches next week. Do look forward to it. Oh, shout out to Sinistro, Poppy. Oh, thank you so much for dropping by. Big shout out to Sinistro, of course, one of the big names behind ESL, behind the ESL tournaments in general. And I know you have a big tournament coming up, Sinistro. So best of luck organizing and running IM Katowice. I know it can't be easy, so good luck, Poppy. Good luck. Without people like Sinistro, StarCraft would be worse off. Would be far worse off. So. Big shout out, big shout out. Fala galera, papi. Fala galera. Oh, siempre, papi, siempre. I'm always at a cost, always at a cost. Kinda will be fun. Yo, shout out to Sinistro as well, mate. During all these holidays, because so many other admins are busy, you know, with New Year's, with Christmas, Sinistro even got into the thick of it. He got into the trenches with all of us, and for the first time, let us know, for the first time in how long, Sinistro even admined an ESL Weekly after years, potentially? I don't know how long it's been, but it was really cool to see you adminning the other day. Adminning, I believe it was the ESL America's broadcast. The European one. European broadcast. 2 to 3 years. Oh my god. It's good to see you do it again. Good to see you again, Papi. But yeah, with that, we are going to be wrapping up for the night. We are wrapping up here for the night. Again, these HomeStory Cup groups are quite large because it is round robin, so casting everything in one day, it's a bit much. It's a bit much, and we're going to be just cutting it up here into 2 broadcasts instead. And we're going to be covering the second half of Group C next week at this time. This time next week, HomeStory Cup Group C, we will conclude it. Otherwise, we are going to be wrapping up for the day. We have a pretty big weekend ahead of us. I did mention before, but to quickly reiterate, this weekend is World Team League. The finals, the playoffs of World Team League will be taking place Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We'll be crowning a new champion for WTL. WTL Winter. The finals will be on Sunday, and of course the lead up to the finals will be on Saturday and Friday respectively. So tune in, we're going to be all over that here on the CranKy Ducklings. A big broadcast weekend, a lot of matches to be had, and I'll do my best to bring in some of the other Ducklings. Yaku has been sick, so send some love out to Yaku Zaku. He has been a little bit unwell. He's been recovering. I was talking to him earlier, and I was letting him know that we have WTL. He's like, I'll be there if I recover. Specifically, he said, if I'm fixed, I'll be there. And I'm like, oh, Yaku can never be fixed, papi. Ay. Not like this. But he should be. Hopefully, he'll be joining me. Otherwise, he'll be recovering. Likewise, Asher might be a part of that as well. We'll see. Este Asher, never responding to my DMs, shaking my. He might be there as well, and we might bring in some other Ducklings just to help us out and just to cover those playoffs and those finals. Again, going to be a big weekend. It isn't just WTL. We also have KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, is going to be over the weekend. Tomorrow, our next broadcast is going to be here on the CranKy Ducklings, and we will be live casting, not replay casting, live casting the OSC playoffs as well. The OSC Championship. I believe the group stage has begun, and we'll be going over Group A and Group B starting tomorrow night. So in 24 hours time, we'll be here. So that's going to be our next broadcast. For those that are curious, what is the OSC Championships? What is OSC? What? Well, that is basically the championships. It's kind of like the IM Katowice of online events. OSC, they are partnered with so many online events out there, like OSC King of the Hill, like our own Sparkling Tuna Cups, and other open tournaments, Conquer the Walk, back when that was a thing. Basically, most, if not all, online events outside of the ESL Weeklies are in some way partnered with OSC. And all these online weekly tournaments, they all provide points leading into the championships at the end of the year. And you get some big names a part of that. Players like MaxPax, Dark, Hero, Beyond, Solar, they're all going to be a part of that, so be sure to tune in. It's going to be the group stage, though, so some of these earlier rounds will have some of these other players, where other players can thrive. Forjumi, I'm sure, is going to be a part of that. Cristiano, Mia Micah, Geralt, to name a few. Baby Marine may be a part of that as well. I still have to go over the groups. But that's going to be tomorrow. The group stage is going to begin tomorrow, and I believe other community casters will be covering that as well. Wardy, I think Wardy usually casts the finals. I think he usually covers like the finals of the OSC Championship. But I'm sure Steadfast and Chicken Man and Dave Testa and usually all the casters come together to provide you coverage for OSC Championships. We'll all come together. So look forward to it. Do look forward to it. Otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting. I heard Kuro is casting. Oh, maybe. Potentially. I miss doing the cups. It used to be my moment to chill with the community. It's good to see you again, Sinistro. Good to see you. Good to see you. But if you want to follow us, socials in the chat, and you will gain links. You will gain links to our Discord, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram. I mentioned before that when it comes to our subscribers, we do have a channel on Discord where we do upload our replay packs, replays that of course we have permission to share, replays from our own events, replays from OSC, replays from the House Open Cups, to name a few. And you will gain access to that. Kung Fu Cups as well. We do share replays of Kung Fu Cups, so we got you covered. If you're interested in replays from some of the best players in the world. Otherwise, I guess we're done. We're also simultaneously live casting on YouTube, so if you want to follow us on YouTube, all of our VODs are uploaded there. Our stream VODs are also immediately available on YouTube as well, so it's all there. If you're interested, it's all there if you want some of that VOD content. Otherwise, thank you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support. We'll be back tomorrow with the OSC Championships. Otherwise, fala galera, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye. Hasta luego.